in Ackworth.
Wellstar now says the proposed $1 billion facility on Cobb Parkway would bring more than 1,500 jobs to the region and would relieve pressure on Marietta's Wellstar Kennestone Hospital. In a certificate of need filing, the health system says it would be 8 stories and 675,000 square feet, featuring 70 emergency department bays and 8 operating rooms. Less serious cases would be treated in Ackworth, speeding up treatment times for critical patients at Wellstar Kennestone. The state has 120 days to review the application. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
Some Metro Atlanta shoppers will have to find a new place to do their grocery shopping. 4 local Krogers will be shutting down for good as part of a downsizing by the grocery giant. The stores that are closing are on Morosco Way in Atlanta, Douglas Road in Alpharetta, Buford Highway in Brookhaven, and Memorial Drive in Decatur. Kroger says it's closing dozens of locations around the U.S. to enhance efficiency and streamline operations. AT&T is ready to pay up following a pair of data breaches.
The company agreed to pay $177 million to settle proposed class actions alleging it failed to protect the personal information of more than 73 million current and former customers. A court filing shows that the settlement would create a $149 million fund stemming from a 2019 breach and a $28 million fund stemming from an April 2024 data intrusion. The judge scheduled a final approval hearing for early December. I'm Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti for 95.5 WSB.
And a new survey looks to find the best and worst parts of a vacation. 78% of those polled agree flying back home from a trip is their least favorite. Only a quarter of us actually take joy in actually planning a vacation. 2/3 of those polled say just knowing they're going on a trip can bring more joy than the actual trip itself. And a majority are willing to give up a week's pay if they can jump on a plane right now. It's 9:03. The Mark Arum Show begins in less than 2 minutes. But first, live team coverage of traffic and weather. We start with Triple Team Traffic and Smiling Mark McKay.
Not good on the west side perimeter, Judd, between Langford Parkway and I-20. At times, all lanes are shut down. Maybe just one lane getting by. A rollover crash on 285 northbound. That's the inner loop just before MLK Jr. Drive, exit 9. The delays start at Langford Parkway, exit 5. If you choose to go east toward the downtown connector, just be aware downtown is stacked up to the I-20 interchange. Above I-20 on the west side, it's been rugged, due in part to the sunshine through Smyrna Vinings. The interloop jammed up from South Cobb Drive, exit 15 through I-75. What's left over across the northern suburbs, Ashley Frasca?
A sea of humanity getting out of Gwinnett County. It's still rough, 35 to 40 minutes on 85 south from Duluth Highway 120 down to I-285. Georgia 400 south still crowded up between Old Milton Parkway and Holcomb Bridge. 575 northbound, it looks like we had some trouble move off to the side around Bells Ferry. 75 south, sluggish getting past Windy Hill. Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid today. Potentially the hottest day so far this year. High 98. The heat index values closer to 100 to 105. Lows tonight in the mid-70s. Tomorrow, another hot afternoon. High 97. Watching for scattered showers and thunderstorms late in the afternoon through the evening hours.
82 degrees already in Kennesaw. 82 in Forest Park. 80 degrees in Midtown Atlanta at 9:05. More news at 9:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Judd Hickenbotham. 95.5 WSB.
Welcome, friends. A boatload, I'm going to use the nice word, a boatload of news to get you caught up to date on. So much has happened in the last 24 hours since we last spoke. Yesterday, we were waiting what kind of response, if any, would we see from Iran. We found out a muted response, a small-ish attack at the United States naval base in Qatar. It seemed like, okay, that's good. That's not escalating the situation. And then even better news, a few hours later, President Trump announced a ceasefire deal between Israel and Iran. Fantastic news as we went to bed last night. And then you woke up this morning and heard Atlanta's Morning News, and the ceasefire appears to be off. President Trump outside Marine One this morning, not too happy.
I didn't like the fact that Israel unloaded right after we made the deal. They didn't have to unload. And I didn't like the fact that the retaliation was very strong. But in all fairness, Israel unloaded a lot. And now I hear Israel just went out because they felt it was violated by one rocket that didn't land anywhere.
President Trump on his way to the NATO summit, where I would suspect he would have been very happy to have the ceasefire deal still in place. More from the president this morning.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Yeah, that was live this morning. President Trump showing his frustrations, then gets on board Air Force One. Apparently has a phone call with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and maybe the ceasefire deal is back on. Let's go live to Jerusalem. CBS News correspondent Robert Berger joins us. Robert, as always, appreciate your time.
Good morning.
Stunning events over the last 24 hours. Let's start with the ceasefire deal. Is it still in place? What are you seeing on the ground in Israel?
Absolutely, and it's still on. And there were some. It got off to a shaky start early in the morning before the ceasefire started. There were missiles hitting Israel. 4 people killed in bomb shelters in the southern city of Beersheba. But afterwards, after 7 a.m. local time, Iran fired several missiles, and Israel called it a violation and was preparing for an airstrike when President Trump basically told the pilots, said those pilots need to return. And even though they carried out a minimal kind of a symbolic airstrike on radar facilities, I think that's it. And we do have a ceasefire, and it's holding. I expect it's going to hold.
Interesting. All right, so whatever President Trump said on his phone call to the Israeli prime minister apparently has worked, because you're not seeing any incoming missiles from Iran, and Israel has stopped their counterattacks.
Right. So these planes were actually in the air, and after President Trump made those comments, he got on the phone with Prime Minister Netanyahu, and Netanyahu said, "Well, listen, they violated the ceasefire. I have to do something." So they did a minimal attack by hitting a radar battery, and that's it. Now, I don't expect that Israel is going to carry out any more attacks, especially after that, those comments from President Trump. But if Iran does violate the ceasefire with ballistic missiles, then it's anybody's guess. Israel says it will respond forcefully.
It shouldn't come as a surprise, though, Robert. Ceasefire deals are tenuous, and usually you'll see a last barrage of attacks from either side, not just Israel, Iran, but anywhere around the globe. When a ceasefire deal is released, you see a flurry of action before the ceasefire starts. So we really shouldn't have been surprised that the ceasefire had a really opaque start, I guess you would say.
Absolutely. I was kind of stunned by President Trump's remarks because of that very thing. I mean, the ceasefire, when Trump announced it last night at 1 a.m. Eastern, was supposed to go into effect 6 hours later. So those Israeli strikes, heavy Israeli strikes on Iran, took place actually before the ceasefire, and then Iran fired some missiles. That always happens. I've covered a lot of these ceasefires and so-called ceasefires here in the region with Hamas and Gaza. It always happens that there's heavy fire before it actually goes into effect, but President Trump didn't seem to like that.
Robert Berger, CBS News in Jerusalem, joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. We were fortunate enough to have you on the show yesterday, Robert, as we were waiting to see what Iran's retaliation would look like. It came in the form of an attack of a U.S. base in Qatar, and it was a really, not a big attack. They gave the Qataris a heads up that it was coming in, and to me, that was the best possible response as far as a lack of escalation, right? It was almost like, all right, here's a muted response. We can all move on right now. Did I read it the same as it was read in Israel?
Yeah, I mean, totally. There was a lot of concern that maybe they would carry out a major strike, but instead they sent around 14, 15 missiles into Qatar, and they notified Qatar and the Americans in advance, basically saying, look, we're going to do this. So it was a symbolic attack also. Okay, now they can tell their people, look, we retaliated. Obviously, they didn't want to take on the Americans, and that sort of put that whole thing between the U.S. and Iran to rest. And then shortly, about 3 hours after that attack, President Trump announced the ceasefire between Israel and Iran.
What's the general feeling of Israeli citizens this morning after what we've seen the last week and a half?
I think overall, people are very satisfied at how well this military operation went. If you consider, things in Gaza maybe for the military haven't gone that well, it's gone on too long. Israel has scored some enormous successes in the opening round, taking out Iran's nuclear facilities. So I think people are pleased with how it went for Israel, and of course they're relieved if these missile attacks are going to stop, because about 30 people were killed, hundreds wounded, a lot of damage from these heavy missiles coming in. So people will be happy to be able to sort of get their lives back to normal.
Robert, are we getting any more information or clarification on the amount of damage done by the United States B-2 stealth bombers to those 3 Iranian nuclear sites? Are we getting, obviously, Mossad has been in Iran. I would imagine they have a lot of sources there, human sources, to try to give them an idea of how much damage was done. Are we getting any clarity on that front?
Well, yes and no. I mean, if you listen to President Trump, the whole thing was obliterated. Journalists and observers don't know. As far as the Mossad or Israel spy agencies, it takes time to assess all that, because they dropped these bunker buster bombs on Fordo. 14 of those bombs, and so obviously it was really heavily damaged, but no one knows for sure what happened underground. Another big question is, was Iran able to get some of this enriched uranium out before the Israeli strikes, and is it hidden somewhere?
Yeah, where's the uranium? Were able to save any centrifuges? Still some unanswered questions, but I guess the good news, Robert, from your perspective, looks like the ceasefire is back on for the moment.
Yeah, I would expect this to hold, and sort of it'll be interesting now to see what happens next in Iran, what kind of internal repercussions there are. But for now, I think the Israelis, Prime Minister Netanyahu, saying that Israel achieved its goals, which was to dismantle Iran's nuclear program and to cripple its ballistic missile program.
Excellent. All right, Robert Berger, CBS News in Jerusalem. Robert, as always, appreciate your time. Please stay safe, my friend.
All right, thanks.
All right, so some good news there from Robert, at least on the Israeli side of the border. It seems like the ceasefire is back. President Trump, Air Force One, en route to the Netherlands right now for the NATO summit. We're going to talk to Selena Wang in the Netherlands a little bit later on in the program. But let's go up to the White House. ABC News correspondent, White House correspondent Karen Travers. Karen, good morning. President seemed very frustrated this morning before he got on Marine One on the ceasefire deal, the miracle ceasefire deal that he announced yesterday. Where do we stand now?
Yeah, I mean, the unfortunate answer is it's not clear because the president has now announced that Israeli planes will be heading back. They will not attack Iran. They'll turn around and head home. But this is just the latest in a lot of fast-moving developments. The president this morning has expressed a lot of frustration at Israel. He, in a social media post, was imploring Israel to not drop bombs on Iran. He said, if you do, it's a major violation. Bring your pilots home. Earlier this morning, he spoke to reporters on the South Lawn and said that Israel, he's not happy with what they've been doing because he said that they felt they were violated by one rocket that didn't land anywhere, referring to what seemed to be the Israeli response to Iran violating the ceasefire, which Iran denies. The president was asked by my colleague Rachel Scott if he feels both countries are committed to peace, and he told her that we basically have countries that have been fighting so long and so hard they don't know what the expletive they're doing. And then he walked to the helicopter to take off to start his trip toward the NATO summit.
It's been a whirlwind 24 hours, Karen. This time yesterday in the show, we were wondering what the Iranian response would be to that targeted strike on their nuclear facilities. And then it was a kind of a muted response, right, on that Air Force base in Qatar. And it seemed like things and temperatures have calmed down. Not so optimistic now after what we've seen the last couple hours?
Unfortunately, I think it's kind of we'll see. I can't give a certain answer on anything because of how fast moving everything is. If you had asked me 1 hour ago, my answer might have been different because the president, had not spoken. These things are all happening pretty quickly. But as for yesterday, the president's response, his reaction to the Iran strike on that base in Qatar, he called it a very weak response and said it was expected. He said that the Iranians have hopefully gotten it all out of their system and that there wouldn't be any further strikes. He thanked Iran for giving the U.S. early notice, as he put it, which he said made it possible for no injuries and no damages. Sources tell us that that warning that he was referring to came to U.S. officials via Qatar. They were given a heads up by Iran that this strike was going to happen. Qatar, of course, had shut off its airspace yesterday in that hour before the strike was going to happen. So there was a sense that it was about to come. It was just a matter of what it was going to be and where they were targeting.
Yeah, it seemed like that was the best possible outcome, right, on what Iran's response would be, giving Qatar, the U.S., a heads up. Hey, this is what we're going to do, a muted response, if you will. And now, everything's in flux. That being said, Karen, the president en route to the Netherlands for the NATO summit, is that going to dominate the headlines, do you think, now?
I think for now, for the president, it's clear this is what's dominating his mind right now, and it's at the top of his agenda. They're also expected to talk about Russia and Ukraine and trying to reach a ceasefire there and recommitting support for Ukraine. But there's a lot happening, of course, in other parts of the world. It's a short summit. The president's going to get there tonight, have a dinner with world leaders, and then only be there tomorrow, and is actually back at the White House Wednesday evening.
Karen Travers, ABC News. Karen, thanks so much for your time.
Have a great day.
Still to come, we are going to check in at the Netherlands. We got a reporter there at the NATO summit on what's on the agenda. Is it going to be all Iran, Israel, or will the NATO leaders actually get a chance to talk about the Russia-Ukraine war? Robert Berger there, breaking news. It seems like the ceasefire holding on the Israel side of the border. When we come back after a quick break, Fred Plikins in Tehran. We'll see what it's like in Iran right now as we hope this ceasefire has solidified. But first, got a traffic red alert on that west side of 285, live with the latest. Smile and Mark McKay.
Yeah, it's a rollover crash. Mark, all lanes northbound 285, the inner loop north of Cascade Road. Exit 7 are shut down. First responders do their work. No traffic is getting by. Can't get to MLK Jr. Drive, exit 9 from 285 north. So here's what you need to do if you're hearing me out of Palmetto, Fairburn, Union City. Don't even make the mistake of going 285 northbound. Continue I-85 north past the airport and deal with the delays in downtown. If you are stacking up on that west side perimeter, take exit 5, 166 Langford Parkway eastbound to avoid the red alert. 285 northbound, shut down north of Cascade Road, exit 7. This report sponsored by Sam's Club. Ready for some locked-in summer value at Sam's Club till July 22nd. Prices are held over 1,000 items, including summer must-haves like ice cream. Sign up for a membership and join at samsclub.com/join. Smile and Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
You're by the pool.
You're relaxing.
You're sipping a drink.
Someone brings you a towel.
Adjust the umbrella.
Sound like a fantasy?
It's not if you win $1,000 from WSB.
$1,000 Thursdays begins this Thursday.
Listen for the keyword at 9, 10, and 11 a.m. and 12, 1, 2, and 3 p.m.
Enter the keyword at WSBRadio.com or the WSB app within that hour, and you could win $1,000. Get all the info at WSBRadio.com.
$1,000 Thursdays
from 95.5 WSB.
Where Atlanta wins.
Every year for the 4th of July, my family invites over friends, and I get a big box of burgers and franks from Omaha Steaks, and we grill out. It's going to be the same this year. Right now, for the 4th of July sale, you can get 50% off site-wide at Omaha Steaks. Just like me, I don't get a special. I take the discount as well, and you can use the promo code ERIC at checkout and get an extra $45 off. So it's already 50% off site-wide, and then you put in ERIC as your promo code, and you get $45 extra off, minimum order required. You get unparalleled quality from Omaha Steaks. It's deliciousness. Get the burgers, get the gourmet jumbo franks. You can get the sides, everything you need. You can even get steaks. We do this every year. It's become a family tradition. Start your own family tradition with Omaha Steaks. Again, 50% off site-wide right now. And if you go to omahasteaks.com with the 50% off site-wide, you get an extra $45 off if you use ERIC, E-R-I-C-K, at checkout. omahasteaks.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Hot water heater just not cutting it anymore? You don't get that piping hot shower you want every morning? Hey, it's Mark Aaron back from my friends at Reliable Heating and Air. Check out this amazing deal. New water heater, only $29.99 a month, and make no payments for 3 whole months. Or you can go tankless, only $59.99 a month, and you can enjoy that lovely, endless hot water. Same day water heater installation guaranteed, or they pay you $300. Get that new water heater now. Save a ton of money. Just go online to reliableair.com.
We basically have 2 countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
I understand it, President Trump, and if he was using that language this morning on the South Lawn of the White House to reporters, I can only imagine what he said to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on their phone call. But whatever it said, it worked, because Robert Berger from CBS joined us last segment live in Jerusalem. He says it seems from his perspective that the ceasefire is back on. Welcome to the Mark Aram Show, continuous coverage of the Israel-Iran situation. Frederick Pleiken from CNN was in Tehran this morning. Let's hear what he says from his side of the border.
Yeah, and after the Israelis made that claim that Iranian missiles were flying towards Israeli territory, I got in touch with a senior Iranian official who flat out denied that the Iranians had fired any missiles toward Israel after the ceasefire went into effect. In fact, they said that the moment that time had come for the ceasefire, that no missiles had been fired from the Iranian side. The Iranians also now warning the Israelis against hitting Iranian territory, saying that would open up Iranian retaliation once again, and that everything within what they call the occupied territories, of course, meaning all of Israel, would then become a target for Iran. So some tough language coming out of Tehran here as well. Also, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, which of course is that elite wing of Iran's military, claiming that there were several violations of its soil, as they put it, by the Israelis, possibly meaning incursion by some sort of aircraft in the hours after the ceasefire went into effect. What we're seeing right now, actually, here in Tehran is that things are fairly calm here. I was on the streets a little bit earlier today. There's a lot of people who are out driving, some shops opening up. But what the president said there about the Israelis unloading overnight after the ceasefire deal was announced was definitely something that we saw and we felt here from our vantage point as well. I was up here on this roof and we all of a sudden heard Israeli Air Force planes what seemed to be Israeli Air Force planes streaking past, and then extremely loud explosions rocking our building and then rocking also a lot of other places in central Tehran as well. We saw a lot of outgoing anti-aircraft gunfire coming from the Iranians. The skies here over the city really were illuminated. That went on for the better part of, I would say, about half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe up to an hour, where those loud bangs continue. The Israelis at some point even issued evacuation orders for certain districts here in the morning, when obviously people in those districts most probably would have been asleep. So it certainly was a night that saw a lot of kinetic activity. And as of right now, the Iranians are saying that their forces are not firing back.
Yeah. Frederick Pleiken this morning in Tehran. So Robert Berger in Jerusalem and Frederick Pleiken in Tehran both saying it looks like maybe the ceasefire deal is back on, which would be phenomenal news. We'll, of course, continuously update the situation throughout the day here on WSB. Coming up after news, weather, and traffic, former Secret Service agent's going to join us. What do we need to do to be prepared in case things escalate and we have to worry about the homeland here? He joins us live next on The Mark Arum Show.
Only inches separate you from the heavy rain trying to infiltrate your home. If your old roof is leaking, think of Findlay First for a remarkable roof replacement. Schedule a free roof analysis. FindlayRoofing.com.
Roof, roof. Dad, one more horsey ride, please.
This living room rodeo moment made possible by Emory Orthopedics and Spine Center. When Dad needed back surgery, he came to Emory. The difference? Emory's among the highest in patient satisfaction and best surgical outcome rates in the nation. And Emory uses the most advanced research developed by our top surgeons to get Dad's back surgery done right the first time. Giddy up. EmoryHealthcare.org/orthodifference.
You know, I've had listeners, coworkers, friends come up and ask me, hey, Arum, what makes Advanced Hair Restoration different? Well, allow me to share, along with some details on, get this, their once-a-year summer savings event. First off, Advanced Hair stands by their results, and their before and afters are second to none. With Advanced Hair, your own natural hair guaranteed to grow. Secondly, Advanced Hair combines top-rated physicians with modern technology, creating a concierge-quality experience that's hard to find elsewhere. Finally, Advanced Hair's Advanced FUE begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. Quick, simple, and easy. Now, if you have a flexible schedule this summer and you've been waiting for the savings special opportunity, it's here, friends. Advanced Hair Summer Savings Event will get you the most hair for your dollar. It's their best offer ever. For details and to schedule your free consultation, call 770-660-HAIR. One-day treatment, life-changing results. Your new hair guaranteed to grow. 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 9:30. I'm Judd Hickenbotham. News this half hour brought to you by Beaver Toyota of Cumming. We'll have the very latest from the Middle East in just a moment, but we start with breaking traffic news this morning. Red alert on the west side perimeter. Let's go straight to the WSB 24-hour traffic center. What can you tell us, Smile on Mark McKay?
Not the place to be on the inner loop, Judd. A rollover crash on 285 northbound has all lanes shut down between Cascade Road exit 7 and MLK Junior Drive exit 9. Jammed up now, almost back at Camp Creek Parkway, so the ride at College Park East Point is increasingly getting worse. If you're hearing me from Union City, take I-85 northbound past the airport. If you're in that backup, you can also get off at Langford Parkway and head east to downtown to avoid the shutdown of the west side perimeter. 285 north, the inner loop north of Cascade Road, exit 7. Judd?
All right, thank you, Smile, and check back with you in just a couple of minutes. It is already 79 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says could have a record high today of 98 degrees.
The humidity will make it feel more like 100 to 105. Not much of a cool down tonight, lows in the mid-70s, and that's going to set us up for another hot day tomorrow with a high of 97. The only relief will be a few thunderstorms developing late in the afternoon through the evening hours.
Heat advisory goes into effect this afternoon around Metro Atlanta starting at 1 o'clock. It'll be a scorcher tomorrow as well. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. All right, now watching the fast-moving details today between the White House and tensions in the Middle East. President Trump saying he's unhappy with Israel for violating a ceasefire with Iran just hours after the agreement began.
President Trump spoke to Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu Tuesday morning after he posted on social media a message imploring Israel to not take further military action against Iran. Multiple sources familiar with the call say the president was, quote, exceptionally firm and direct with Netanyahu about what needed to happen to sustain the ceasefire.
Correspondent Karen Travers says the president's on his way now to the NATO summit in the Netherlands, where the fighting in the Middle East will be a hot topic, along with a proposal to boost defense spending for NATO members. Check back often to 95.5 WSB as the situation continues to evolve in the Middle East. We saw it happen very quickly this morning. We'll have coverage throughout the day and breaking news as it happens. Hearing from local officials on both sides of the debate today as we mark 3 years since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade.
Since the court's landmark decision, Georgia's heartbeat abortion law has taken full effect, and Jalen Black with Planned Parenthood Southeast says
extreme abortion bans like the one we have in Georgia weaken our freedom and they weaken our health care.
But Republican State Senator Ed Setzler, who sponsored the States Life Act, says the court's ruling allows the states to have the say, and in Georgia, they've tried to balance the life of the unborn child and the mother.
We recognize if the child has a heartbeat, they ought to be protected from the violence of abortion.
Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
And as of today, Uber officially begins offering customers driverless Waymo rides here in Atlanta. Bloomberg reports the robo-taxis will cover 65 square miles in the city, including downtown and Buckhead, with expansion plans for the future. Uber's been testing the Waymo car since April. Users will have the option, though, to select a driverless ride or switch to a vehicle with a human driver before they accept a ride, just in case that's what they want. It is 9:33 as we check your money. The drama this morning in the Middle East has not hurt the stock market as the bell rings. All major indices are well up today, including the NASDAQ that's up 1% at the moment. Now live team coverage of traffic and weather. And back to the WSB 24-hour traffic center. Still got a red alert. Smile, Mark McKay.
No change on the west side perimeter. Judd, all inner loop travel lanes are shut down with a rollover crash. I-285 northbound, north of Cascade Road, exit 7. It's a parking lot almost back to Camp Creek Parkway, so it's imperative out of Palmetto, Fairburn, Union City not to make the move on 285. Instead, take 85 north past the airport. Downtown connector is heavy, but at least it's moving, leaving Langford Parkway, working your way up to I-20. That's where you can regain the west side perimeter. If you're in that backup, exit at Langford Parkway, exit 5, and take that to the downtown connector. Southbound into Midtown, still heavy out of Buckhead. 400 at Sidney Marcus Boulevard. 85 is slow inside the perimeter at Claremont Road, and still slow outside of I-285, leaving Highway 316 into Norcross. Smiler, Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid today, high 98. The heat index closer to 100 to 105. Lows tonight in the mid-70s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high 97. A few pop-up showers and thunderstorms through the afternoon.
Boy, with these temperatures, 85 degrees in Stone Mountain, 83 in Villa Rica, 85 in Midtown Atlanta at 9:34. More news at 10. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Chet Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
I've listened to many arguments, and there are good arguments to say that we shouldn't. So I'm just saying.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
This is the only way to do it. Some people are going to lose their job, and then they're going to be put back in the job.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
It's about you. You're being celebrated.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Well, we have to have Israel calm down because they went on a mission this morning. I got to get Israel to calm down.
Seems
now.
like they have calmed down. Maybe the ceasefire's back on. If things do escalate again, how concerned do we need to be here stateside? A former Secret Service agent joins us live next on The Mark Arum Show.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
The big focus in America today is on your health, and more people looking beyond pills and steroids and surgery. Hey, it's Mark Arum for QC Kinetics. At QC Kinetics, they've been on the cutting edge of this medical revolution since 2018. Using regenerative medicine, they have helped tens of thousands of people get lasting joint pain relief using natural treatments that harness your body's own healing power. The truth is, regenerative medicine used to be an alternative treatment. Now it's mainstream, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader. Their well-respected protocols include potent and powerful cellular-level treatments to revitalize and restore damaged joint tissue. They're not masking the pain. They're going after the very source of it. Yes, you can say goodbye to that chronic pain and live your best life. Learn more about this revolutionary treatment and get a free consultation. Call QC Kinetics now. 770-285-8026. 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026.
The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate is the easiest way to sell your home. You can save time, make the most money, and eliminate all the hassle this summer. Hi, it's Chris Chandler. My friends at Mark Spain Real Estate can sell your home with the strongest all-cash offer in the industry and help you move on your timeline. With over 67,000 satisfied clients, you can trust the most experienced real estate team in the U.S. to sell your home fast and for maximum profit. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
I'm committed to saving lives. I'm committed to life and safety. And I'm going to give you an exact definition when I get there. I just don't want to do it on the back of an airplane.
President Trump was on the back of an airplane, Air Force One, as he's flying to The Hague in Netherlands for the all-important NATO summit coming up. We're going to go to the Netherlands, preview what's going to be said between President Trump and his fellow NATO leaders. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. Continue our team coverage of the Israel-Iran situation. Heard from Robert Berger in Jerusalem last half hour. At least on his side of the border, seems like the ceasefire might be back on. But we're not out of the woods yet, certainly, right? We saw how fragile that ceasefire deal was and how it dissipated quickly. And what should be our level of concern here stateside if Iran decides to escalate this situation? Joining us live on the Mark Arum Show, former Secret Service agent Robert McDonald. Mr. McDonald, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Good morning, Mark. Thank you for having me. A pleasure.
For a long time, we've been warned about the open border policy here in the United States and not just illegal immigrants coming in, but possible terror cells coming in. And the worry is there might be some sleeper cells here stateside. What do folks here in Metro Atlanta need to be worried about and need to plan ahead for in case something does happen on the homeland soil?
Well, we want to go out and live our lives every day. We don't want to live in fear of what could happen to us. But look, there's a lot going on domestically and internationally now that could affect our day-to-day operations and how we live our lives and put ourselves into some precarious situations. Look, we had the school shooting, the church shooting again the other day. We've had the protests and riots out in L.A. We've got a number of things going on internationally. So there are a lot of opportunities for different cells and different types of groups within the United States to be causing some havoc in and around our cities, especially large cities like yours. We want to be just situationally aware of what's around us, what's going on, where we are. How do we get out of a certain situation if something was to happen while we were in the diner or in the movie theater or at church? Just take a look around and see where you are. Is there an abandoned backpack over in the corner of your office building or something like that? So again, we don't want to live in fear, but we just want to be situationally aware and cognizant of our surroundings and how to get out of a situation should something take place immediately where we are.
Hypervigilant, I think, right? Yeah, just,
Exactly.
more so
Well
now
said.
than ever to make sure, always be, and I'm sure, listen, as a former Secret Service agent, you are more well-equipped than the average Jane or Joe listening to enter a room and assess the situation. But are there certain things that we should be looking at aside from a stray backpack, et cetera?
Yeah, you want to be looking for things that are out of the ordinary. Are there different cars in and around your neighborhood on a regular basis? Now, they could be visiting your neighbors, but you want to just take note of things when you see things that are out of the ordinary, that don't take place on a regular basis. Know where to sit when you go into a diner. I always sit facing the door. I'm not expecting anything to happen, but my wife and daughters know that when we go into the diner on a Sunday morning, that dad is going to sit facing the door, and they're pre-populated with respect to how we set that up. Again, don't want to be doom and gloom, but you've got to be prepared to handle an immediate situation should something happen. The cops and authorities will come at some point to assist, but you've got to take care of the immediacy of what potentially the situation could be that you find yourself in.
Yeah, me, you, and mob bosses. We always sit with our back to the wall, right? I learned that at an early age, where my wife knows exactly. You know, we go into a restaurant, my back's to the wall, so I can get the escape of everything. Robert, I personally have a bug out plan, right? I know where I'm going to go. I know, if whatever the situation is, if it hits the fan, I know where I'm going. Should people be prepared to have a, quote, bug out plan in case things go awry here stateside?
Well, I think when you're in your immediate area of your home, you should know, for example, where the police station is, where a hospital is. Now it's vacation time. You know, when you're driving down the road and you see that big blue and white H that means hospital, take note of it as you're driving down the highway. Have some supplies in the car, whether it's water, whether it's food, whether it's some snack bars or something to get you through. Again, we don't have to prep as if we're going to war, but just some certain things. For example, as simple as every time you go to the mall, I'm a creature of habit. I park in the same area and I walk in the same door. God forbid something goes wrong at the mall. Would I know how to get out of another door or another exit at the mall just to get myself out of a particular situation? Again, don't want to let this dark cloud and all the what ifs follow us. But as you said, you've got your plan. You know where you're going to go. The time to plan for something is not when it's happening. The time to plan for something is before, and then execute your plan if and when you find yourself in a precarious situation.
Yeah, well said. On the law enforcement side of things, as things have escalated in the Mideast, I would imagine FBI, Homeland Security, even big city local police departments have upped their awareness and maybe heightened security around certain popular tourist attractions, et cetera.
Absolutely. They're all talking. Your Joint Terrorism Task Force in all your big cities are talking. The communication is being tested. Communication plans and other plans for various problems are being talked about. The dust is being blown off the plans that are on the shelf for various situations. But look, it's not a good situation, but the good part that comes out of this is that we do get our law enforcement agencies and emergency responders talking, practicing, getting to know each other again, talking about buildings, talking about how they're going to respond with each of their responsibilities with respect to a situation. So we're always training. We should always be training, but this just kind of gives us an added incentive to make sure that we've got our I's dotted and our T's crossed.
Former Secret Service agent Robert McDonald. Robert, what's that Secret Service pension like? Pretty good?
I'm not complaining.
Good. Robert, great stuff. If folks want to find you on social media or websites, where can we hit you up?
I'm with the University of New Haven in New Haven, Connecticut, on the website there.
So what are you going to a diner? You should be at a pizza joint every day. You're in the pizza capital of the world.
That's a whole nother show, Mark. So I'm a Pepe's guy for those of you that know New Haven.
Same.
Come on up. I'll buy you dinner.
I'm from Connecticut, so I'm a long-time Pepe's lover.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Very good.
Excellent. Robert, thanks so much for your time, my friend.
Anytime, Mark. Talk to you on the next one.
There you go. Robert McDonald, 20 years in the Secret Service on just be hyper vigilant. Longoria, are you the same way? When you go into a restaurant, you sit with the back to the wall, so you can. Yeah, I think that's just guys know how to do that.
I think so, yeah.
And if Gnocchi didn't know, he now knows as the Gen Zer. All right, continue our team coverage of what's going on with Iran and Israel. Let's head to the Netherlands. ABC correspondent Selena Wang previewing the big NATO summit. Selena, good morning, or I guess good afternoon.
It is good afternoon, but, I just landed earlier this morning, so it still feels like morning to me.
President Trump's a couple hours behind you. We just heard some really stark comments on the South Lawn before he got on Marine One about what seems to be the falling apart of the ceasefire deal. I would imagine that is going to be front and center for everyone at the NATO summit.
Absolutely. That's going to loom large over this summit for the president's meeting with our allies, with our NATO allies. And the president, before he took off, he made it very clear that he's not happy. All of these developments have been moving rapidly. The president made very clear that he's furious that the ceasefire that he just celebrated is now in question. He said, as he was leaving the White House that those two countries don't know what the bleep they're doing. The president then took to Truth Social, writing that, quote, Israel is not going to attack Iran. All planes will turn around and head home while doing a friendly plane wave to Iran. Nobody will be hurt. The ceasefire is in effect. But this is a very fragile situation and certainly will loom large over the entire summit.
Yeah, I would imagine, though, prior to what we've seen in the last 24 hours, or actually the last week between Israel and Iran, that the main talking point, the main subject would be discussed at this NATO summit would be Russia and Ukraine. That still has to be in the agenda at some point, correct?
Had this not been the case where you have this Iran-Israel escalation, that absolutely would have been at the top of the agenda. In addition to President Trump wanting to push our NATO allies to increase their defense spending. So those would have been the two key points that the president would have wanted to cover, and that would have been at the top of the NATO agenda summit. But now, for sure, this is going to be critical here. Our European allies, they have been pushing for de-escalation. They have been pushing for a peaceful resolution to this. In fact, before the U.S. strikes began, some of our European allies had actually met with Iran's foreign minister trying to find a way for a deal to be reached without any violence.
Now, of course, Selena, that Ukraine is not in NATO, but do we expect President Zelensky to be at the NATO summit?
That is absolutely a possibility. Zelensky, of course, does not want the attention to be taken away from the war that continues to rage as he is pushing other countries, the United States, to keep up their defense spending. A big question, though, if President Trump would be meeting with him, how long he'll be here for. But absolutely for Zelensky, this is a huge moment that's been somewhat overshadowed by the conflict in the Middle East.
Selena, do we know how long this summit will last?
Well, President Trump will only be here for a couple days, and we know that he's actually going to be holding a press conference on Wednesday. So that will be a big moment. He'll be taking questions from reporters. This will be at The Hague. I'm sure the questions will focus largely on Israel, Iran, but of course also on Ukraine and what America's leadership will look like in NATO moving forward. Trump has, of course, been highly critical of NATO in the past. Will he be satisfied if these countries promise to increase their defense spending?
ABC News senior White House correspondent Selena Wang in the Netherlands at the NATO summit. Selena, thank you so much for your time. Have a safe trip back.
Thank you.
Selena Wang, that's back-to-back days, Deborah. We've had a guest from the Netherlands on.
I know.
Yeah, this is amazing. We got to get that map. I got to order that map to put in the studio. I just don't trust our studio mates that they wouldn't mess with the map. Like if we put
sure they would.
With the pins in everywhere we have a guest. Shelley,
like on Mask when he wanted to go to the places.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Rocky Dennis map. Yeah. Shelley would respect it. I don't know about the doctrinaires, though.
No, I feel like they would purposefully mess with
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Maybe we got to put it on an article. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, Selena Wang there in the Netherlands. Back-to-back days, we had a guest on from the Netherlands. All right, still to come on the show, Scott Slade's going to join us live at 10:35. His perspective on what's going on between Israel and Iran. Big Supreme Court decision. We're going to check in with Greg Storr from Bloomberg News at 11:05. And Deborah's got tickets to see the B-52s and Devo Ameris Bank Amphitheater on October 25th. We'll give those away in the 11 o'clock hour. When we come back, the latest on Israel-Iran. But first, been dealing with a major mess on the west side perimeter. Live with the latest, Smile Mark McKay.
Yeah, just when I thought lanes were opening up, they've shut them down again. So this rollover crash is not completely cleared. All lanes are back shut down on 285 northbound, north of Cascade Road, exit 7. They're going to do that until they completely get this wreckage off to the right. The delays now back toward East Point begin at Camp Creek Parkway. So 85 north, rolling out of South Fulton and Coweta County, Palmetto, Fairburn, Union City. Just continue 85 past the airport and deal with the delays on the downtown connector, which finds that pretty heavy past I-20. This report sponsored by Advance Auto Parts. This is how we advance. NASCAR fans, meet Ryan Blaney June 27th at noon at Advance Auto Parts in Jonesboro. First 150 get a photo with Ryan, plus free Kona Ice. This is how we advance. Smile Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
When traffic
No
hits,
traffic getting through in either direction.
the Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
Even the bridge over 75 is being held.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
Traffic out of Spaghetti Junction along 285 westbound and a crash on Peachtree Boulevard, 141 southbound before 285.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Atlanta DIY landlords, listen up. If you're exhausted from managing your rental properties all by yourself, my friends at Renters Warehouse Atlanta offering a 90-day test drive. Hire Renters Warehouse to manage your rental property for a low flat monthly fee as low as $115. If you're not satisfied at any time in the first 3 months, you can fire them. Get your management fees back. What do you get for that low flat monthly fee? A dedicated property management team, maintenance coordination, move in and move out property condition reports, advanced tenant screening with a 9-month tenant warranty, professional photography and videography, lease renewal processing and negotiations, online rent collection, monthly owner cash flow statements, and more. Renters Warehouse, so confident you'll love their service, they want an addition for your business. Choice is yours. Keep DIYing or see how Renters Warehouse can make your life easier. Start your 90-day test drive today. Go to rwatlanta.com or call 404-662-2322, 404-662-2322.
Mom and Dad seem different after a European-style holiday on MSC Cruises.
Call us Cloud and Yvette.
The ship had restaurants, shops, and nightlife.
La Galleria.
And of course, American touches like an aqua park and a sweets shop.
American je ne sais quoi.
Mom, you're from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, Kevin.
Book now and save up to 30% off, plus kid sale free. MSC Cruises. Let's holiday. To book, visit msccruises.com or contact your travel advisor. Restrictions apply. Ships registered in Panama and Malta.
Hey, it's Shelley Winter. Sleep apnea could be silently wrecking your health. Untreated, it spikes your risk of heart disease, strokes, and diabetes. Are you snoring loudly? Waking up exhausted? Your body's sounding the alarm. Don't ignore it. Are you frustrated with a CPAP? Those bulky masks and noisy tubes aren't for everyone. Palmetto Sleep has a better answer. Custom oral appliances, quiet, comfortable, and perfect for mild to moderate sleep apnea. Sleep better, feel better. No sleep lab needed. Get an at-home sleep test in your own bed, often covered by Medicare or your company plans. Save your health. Call Palmetto Sleep now at 770-230-0222. That's 770-230-0222. That's 770-230-0222. Palmetto Sleep, your health deserves better. Call 770-230-0222. That's the phone number. Get a good night's sleep now. Call Palmetto Sleep.
Oh, popsicle drips, muddy shoes, and summertime messes, don't let them take over your home. Call Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Zerorez uses their ZR water technology, no dirt-attracting soaps, no harsh chemicals, just a truly clean, healthy home. Right now, take advantage of their summer sale. Get 15% off all services, that is carpets, air ducts, rugs, tile, and more, all 15% off. Just mention Chris Chandler or book now at ZeroResAtlanta.com, and yeah, they do commercial cleaning too. Zerorez, all they leave is clean.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But what if you could get both? Why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is Medi-Share. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with Medi-Share, and that's huge, but it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. And we know this from research of members. There's a lot they like about Medi-Share, but especially they love being part of something they believe in. And Medi-Share works, too. It has for more than 30 years. There are hundreds of thousands of members who love having telehealth if they need it. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you could save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or you're part of the gig economy or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
Happy 78th birthday, Mick Fleetwood, drummer and co-founder of Fleetwood Mac, born on this date in 1947. This is the band's 1997 classic, Don't Stop. This used to be big in the roller rinks when I was a kid, Deborah. I don't know if you did roller rinks or not as a child.
I have a roller rink.
You did not have a roller rink?
No, my town was way too small for a roller. I don't think it was really trendy. I had roller blades.
Okay, well, you're young. Yeah, the town next to mine had a roller rink, and that was that and Jay Giles Band. That was all you hear. Fleetwood Mac and Jay Giles Band at the roller rink. Welcome back to the Mark Arum Show. In case you're just joining us, at the top of the show, we talked to Robert Berger from CBS in Jerusalem, and he told me that it looks like the ceasefire deal is back on and holding.
Yeah, I would expect this to hold, and sort of it'll be interesting now to see what happens next in Iran, what kind of internal repercussions there are. But for now, I think the Israelis, Prime Minister Netanyahu, saying that Israel achieved its goals, which was to dismantle Iran's nuclear program and to cripple its ballistic missile program.
So 3 hours ago, it seemed dubious that the ceasefire will hold, but Robert Berger there in Jerusalem said, looks like it's back on, and it looks like all things are a go. I wonder how hot it is in Jerusalem. I just talked to WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards, Deborah, and she forecasts a high of 98 degrees today in Metro Atlanta. We're not alone with this heat wave, though.
No, the heat wave's kind of taken over parts of the Midwest, the South, all the way into the Northeast coast. And we are under a heat advisory from 1 p.m. today until about 8 p.m. tomorrow. And like Chrissy said, it's going to be in the high 90s, but probably feel up to 105, maybe even 107 in some areas.
Be careful walking the dogs, too, because if it's 100, the pavement is like 160 degrees. So take care of your pets. And I might get called to the carpet today. If you're watching the show on the WSB Radio live stream at WSBRadio.com or on YouTube, I am wearing a T-shirt and shorts today. I'm going full Clark Howard. I'll actually stand up so you can see me here at WSBRadio.com. Because yesterday, Deborah, I wore jeans and a polo shirt. And Longoria, I was sweating. I was drenched the whole... You
in the studio?
In studio.
I thought he brought something back from Japan.
Yeah, you thought, I mean, maybe it was the jet lag kicking in. I feel better today, though, but I apologize. I'm not fully dressed to the nines, but it was too hot yesterday. I couldn't deal. I was looking around asking if I could borrow someone's sweatshirt. I mean, a T-shirt. The only one
Get one out of the prize closet. You couldn't find your old B98.5 one from the 5 closet?
I don't have access to the prize closet anymore. They've deactivated my badge to get into the prize closet. I don't know. Take with that from you, Will. All right, so heat wave, we're not alone. I think 170 million Americans are under a heat wave right now. Again, Christina's full 5-day forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes. When we come back, continuing coverage of the Iranian-Israel ceasefire deal, and how are the markets reacting, specifically oil prices, right? That could mean a lot to you and me. We're going to check in on the oil markets next on The Mark Arum Show.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Tim Andrews here for D. Geller & Son, Atlanta's engagement ring and wedding band destination since 1939. Their hand-picked diamonds just shine brighter at a value that can't be beat. They have an unbelievable selection of engagement rings and wedding bands, from classic to modern to off the wall, because you like what you like. Design your own. And because they've been jewelers for generations, they can bring your dream to life with full custom abilities. Go see Atlanta's most trusted jeweler since 1939. D. Geller & Son in Kennesaw and Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
Are the effects of diabetes, prostate cancer, hypertension, or high cholesterol robbing you of your ability to perform in the bedroom? Choice Men's Health can help you eliminate ED and get your bedroom performance back in just one visit. Choice Men's Health offers breakthrough treatments for ED and performance issues in the bedroom to help you regain your confidence and give you back the intimacy with your partner. Call Choice Men's Health right now to make an appointment and find out how you can eliminate ED on the first visit. Popular name brand pills like Viagra and Cialis don't work for everyone and can have serious side effects. Choice Men's Health custom medications work immediately, even if you have a medical history or think you're too old to perform like you used to. Choice Men's Health can help you have a fulfilling sex life again. Call Choice Men's Health today at 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. Once again, that's 404-400-1170.
You know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Tune in to Retire Ready with David Nicholas of Nicholas Wealth Management Saturday at 6 to get answers to your retirement. Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies.
I've found your next go-to service team for Porsche, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Audi. It's Wolf Pen European Auto Repair in Roswell. Honest pricing with certified factory techs who won't run up the tab with repairs you don't need. See the difference when you search Wolf Pen Auto Repair.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good morning. It is 10 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by TE Certified Electrical, Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We're going to start with this. Breaking new developments this morning in the conflict between Iran and Israel.
CBS News special report. President Trump has declared the brand new ceasefire he brokered between Israel and Iran is in effect, despite apparent violations by both sides.
I think they both violated it. I don't think I'm not sure they did it intentionally. They couldn't rein people back. I don't like the fact that Israel went out this morning at all.
Speaking to reporters as he left the White House for an overseas trip, he scolded both countries, saying neither knows what the expletive they're doing. Correspondent Ed O'Keefe is at The Hague, where Mr. Trump will attend a NATO summit.
The president later boarded Air Force One and appears to be conducting some diplomacy from the sky, trying to salvage the ceasefire. He spoke with the Israeli prime minister. He's also been using his Truth Social account to speak out, saying in part, Israel is not going to attack Iran. All planes will turn around and head home, and nobody will be hurt. The ceasefire is in effect.
Mr. Trump also says he does not want to see regime change in Iran because he says it would cause chaos. CBS News special report. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
Oil prices are dropping further and stocks are rallying worldwide on hopes that Israel's war with Iran will not damage the global flow of crude. So let's take a look at the markets right now. We're in the green. The Dow's up 284 at 42,866. So the Dow's up more than 0.5%. NASDAQ's up more than 1%. And the S&P's up more than 0.5% here in the 10 o'clock hour. All right, the other big story locally is the weather. Partly cloudy and potentially the hottest day of the year today. Looking for a high of 98.
It's summer. It's supposed to be hot. But to put this into perspective for you, today's forecast high is 98. That's trending about 10 degrees above average for today. And it's close to the record high of 99 set on this day back in 1988.
And a heat advisory goes into effect this afternoon at 1 o'clock. More than 200 million Americans are in the grip of an early summer heat wave.
The heat is pretty bad. It's oppressive.
We're not able to outsweat the heat.
It feels like an armpit out here.
Forecasters say 33 million people will feel 100-degree heat today, and that's nearly 10% of the country, and 245 million will experience temperatures above 90 degrees. We'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just over 2 minutes. Wellstar Health System moving ahead with plans for a new hospital in Acworth.
Wellstar now says the proposed $1 billion facility on Cobb Parkway would bring more than 1,500 jobs to the region and would relieve pressure on Marietta's Wellstar Kennestone Hospital. In a certificate of need filing, the health system says it would be 8 stories and 675,000 square feet, featuring 70 emergency department bays and 8 operating rooms. Less serious cases would be treated in Acworth, speeding up treatment times for critical patients at Wellstar Kennestone. The state has 120 days to review the application. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
JetBlue is the latest airline that will be able to track luggage using Apple AirTags. The airline saying it's integrating the iOS software to customers, and they can share the location of their tagged luggage with the airline. JetBlue, one of more than a dozen airlines that have announced similar plans. Ford's recalling nearly 133,000 Aviator SUVs. The recall is because of an issue with the rear door window bars. They can become detached from the vehicles. The problem stemming from insufficient adhesion, which raises the potential safety concern for other drivers on the road. The recall covering Lincoln Aviator model years 2020 through 2025, and dealers will repair or replace the parts free of charge. 4 local Kroger grocery stores are going to be shutting down for good as part of a downsizing. The stores that are closing are the Kroger in Atlanta near the Lindbergh MARTA station, the one on Douglas Road out in Alpharetta, Buford Highway in Brookhaven, and the Kroger on Memorial Drive in Decatur. Kroger saying it's closing dozens of locations around the United States to enhance efficiency and streamline their operations. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell is headed to Capitol Hill today, where he is scheduled to testify before the House Financial Services Committee a week after the central bank announced that it would be leaving interest rates unchanged for now. Now, he's going to be presenting the Fed's semi-annual monetary policy report amid pressure from President Trump to cut rates. Powell will return tomorrow to deliver remarks to the Senate Banking Committee. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Smiling Mark McKay joining us now with a look at your roads on this Tuesday morning.
Good morning, Sabrina. And we're still dealing with about 15-20 minutes of delay on the east side perimeter between East Point and I-20. It was a red alert rollover crash that had 285 North shut down for more than 30 minutes above Cascade Road, exit 7. All lanes are open. It's much better north of Highway 166 on the Interloop. I'm looking at the jam cam at Washington Road, exit 1. Still a crawl as you leave the Hartsfield-Jackson Airport area trying to to reach the I-20 interchange. Rolling out of the northern suburbs, still slow through Alpharetta. 400 southbound Old Milton Parkway to exit 7 Holcomb Bridge Road. And leftover slowing out of Duluth and Norcross, 85 South Highway 316 down to Beaver Ruin Road. Smile Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid today. Potentially the hottest day so far this year. High 98. The heat index values closer to 100 to 105. Lows tonight in the mid-70s. Tomorrow, another hot afternoon. High 97. Watching for scattered showers and thunderstorms late in the afternoon through the evening hours.
It's already 85 degrees in Alpharetta and Lithia Springs. 84 here in Midtown Atlanta. We'll have more news at 10:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back to the show and a good Tuesday morning to you. Mark Arum here, you there. It's 10:05, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. This is the Mark Arum Show live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon on 95.5 WSB. Extended family with us today. Deborah is the executive producer of the program. Longoria, the stoic Eskimo on the other side of the takeout window. Lil Yoki screens your calls. Coming up in 30 minutes, Scott Slade's going to join us live. His take on what's going on between Israel and Iran. 11 o'clock hour, Deborah's got tickets to see the B-52s and Devo to Marist Bank Amphitheater on October 25th. If you're just joining us, you missed a lot in the first hour. We went live to Jerusalem, got the latest from CBS News' Robert Berger. He told us it looks like the ceasefire is still holding. We went to the Netherlands and got an update and a preview on the big NATO summit that President Trump is en route to, and we went to the White House. We're going to go back to the White House in just a couple of minutes. Definitely free-flowing story here on whether or not the ceasefire is going to hold. Huge, strong words from President Trump this morning before he got on Marine One, and I can only imagine what the phone call that he had with the Israeli Prime Minister, because Benjamin Netanyahu turned the planes around and head back to Israel to prevent another strike. So maybe the ceasefire deal is holding. Before that happened, though, the ceasefire kind of fell apart. We saw back and forth between Israel and Iran after that ceasefire deal was agreed to. CBS News military analyst, retired Army Colonel Jeff McCausland.
As this war progressed and the Israelis seemed to be doing so well, it appeared by the target set they were going after that, in fact, the Israelis had decided that the only way to ensure Iran didn't get a nuclear weapon was, in fact, to take down the regime. So the question now is, are the Israelis willing to accept some level of destruction of that nuclear capacity, or are they still want to continue or even go so far as to bring down the regime?
So that was updating what happened with the precision strike by the B-2 bombers from the United States and the preemptive strikes by the Israeli Air Force onto those targets in Iran. Retired General John Allen, former U.S. Central Command Deputy Commander.
It's non-negotiable, as I understand the president's position, as I understand Bibi Netanyahu's position. And so we're going to have a conversation that starts from there and ultimately can branch out into other conditions associated with a peaceful relationship of Iran with Israel and with the region.
Can Israel live with the current regime, though? That is the long question. Concerns here, I would imagine, over the last week and a half or so, what this Mideast strife might mean to gas prices, oil prices, what we pay at the pump. Joining us covering that story, it's correspondent Rory O'Neill. Rory, how concerned should Atlantans be about what we pay at the pump for gas?
Well, look, when we had the U.S. strikes against Iran over the weekend, everyone assumed that oil prices would suddenly be up to $100 a barrel again, and we'd be paying $5 a gallon. But that didn't happen when the oil markets opened on Sunday night. And then what we saw with trading on Monday, it was sort of in and out, up or down a percentage point or two. Then we saw Iran launch that feeble attack against Qatar and our U.S. military base there. Oil prices started falling, saying, oh, that's it? This is nothing. Then cut to around 6 o'clock Monday night when President Trump announces a ceasefire. Boom, down go oil prices again. So right now, oil is down to about $66.50 a barrel-ish, down another 3% or so. Essentially, oil is now cheaper than it was before Israel started this series of attacks.
Interesting. So we see the oil prices drop after the ceasefire agreement. Now the ceasefire appears to be off. Can we expect maybe oil prices to climb up a little bit today when the markets open?
Well, we'll see. And, the ceasefire had a rocky start, but later in the day, it seemed to be going well. President Trump clearly frustrated with some of the comments we heard from him on his way to Air Force One, comments I can't repeat if I want to keep my job. But, the gas prices and the oil prices, they're not always penny for penny or dollar for dollar. We've seen in Georgia, prices are up about half a penny from the day before, up about 7 cents, according to Gas Buddy, from where they were a week ago, up 5.5 cents from a month ago. So they haven't changed too much, but hey, look, they're down 31 cents from where they were a year ago. So that's better.
It seemed yesterday, Rory, that, when we were on the air in the morning, that the threat of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz from Iran might spike oil prices, but it seemed like that wasn't going to happen. And then you mentioned the attack on the Qatari airbase, which, was not very robust. But now maybe, is that the Strait of Hormuz the one thing we need to watch to see if Iran does retaliate and close that up that could impact gas prices moving forward?
Right. Look, Iran has been threatening that for decades, quite literally. And the issues are Iran now only really has one customer for its oil, and that's China. So, and they need to go through the strait to get to China for the most part. So it really is necessary and vital for Iran's economy. And a lot of stuff for China goes through the straits. So that is another factor because Iran and China are reliant on one another right now. Iran is unlikely to take an action that would hurt the Chinese economy.
True.
And because of that, it really is unlikely that Iran would close the straits. Let's call it the nuclear option. But that really is sort of the last thing that Iran wants to do is close the straits.
All right, Rory, I appreciate it as always. Stay cool today, my friend.
All right. Thanks, Mark. Will do.
See you, buddy. Massive heat wave. Rory also impacted by the heat wave. This is remarkable to me, right? With this Mideast uncertainty, as long as I've been alive, and I'm old enough that I was alive during the Iran hostage crisis, anytime there's strife in the Middle East, oil prices jump up. Right, and you would imagine that with this unprecedented B-2 bomber strike on Iranians' nuclear facilities, that oil prices would have shot through the roof. I just checked the markets long ago. Oil's at $65.26 a barrel. That's shockingly low. Shockingly low. It's down 4.7 percentage points today. And I can't remember, Deborah, what it was in Landman, but what was...
I feel like it was around 80.
Yeah, like in Land... It was such a great show, by the way. In Landman, it's all about the Texas oil business, and they said the sweet spot for the oil business is $80 a barrel. Like, there's enough in demand. So, I mean, who knows if that's true? It's a TV show. But in my head, I'm like, oh, I don't know. Would Billy Bob Thornton be happy that oil's down to $65 a barrel? Crazy. I thought it would skyrocket. That's why I don't play the markets. I don't gamble. So right now, we should see relief at the pump as oil prices continue to fall. I did see a story, though, that there might be some refinery issues in California that we need to keep an eye on. But at least with the Middle East, we're okay. Speaking of automobiles, Deborah, Consumer Reports released their best and worst cars. Mm-hmm. Dodge Durango with a Swim Dad sticker, I'm assuming, is still the best car on the market.
Dodge actually comes in at the bottom of the list. Does not specifically call it a Durango, but just gives you the name.
With the Swim Dad sticker, yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. What are the best cars then? We'll start
Best cars, top of the list ends up being Subaru. Now, last year it was BMW. BMW fell to second place this year. And these rankings are based on reliability, road tests, overall satisfaction from the owner, and then safety in general. So Subaru and BMW are your best cars according to Consumer Reports.
And the bottom of the barrel?
Bottom of the barrel, Jeep.
Really?
Rivian, yeah.
Rivian? No kidding.
I see Rivians, but not that many.
I've got two friends that have Rivians, and they absolutely love them.
Are they bad drivers?
I don't know them that well. I don't like to drive with other people, so I don't know. But I know that the two dudes that one has a Rivian pickup and one has a Rivian SUV, and they both love them. So that's surprising. All right. So I'm surprised by Jeep and Rivian.
Mm-hmm. Jeep, Rivian, Land Rover, GMC, and Dodge. That's the bottom of the list.
All right. Interesting note when I was in Japan. And by the way, I heard from a lot of listeners saying that I didn't talk enough about my Japan vacation. 11:35, I'm going to give a little more in-depth because we had so much breaking news yesterday. So 11:35, I'll tell you a little bit more about my Japan trip. But one thing I noticed, speaking of automobiles, Deborah, so Maya's mom and her stepdad, we visited them, and they had two separate cars. They were basically our Uber driving us around. All the cars in Japan, and maybe this is something in the United States, I've just got an old car, don't know. There's a TV console in the front.
Like a flat screen?
Yes.
Okay.
That broadcast TV.
Oh, that seems dangerous.
Yes, right? I'm like, what? Like, it's just like whatever their Good Morning America, the Japanese version is just playing. And I'm like, this seems really weird. And then I freaked out. I'm like, can you not get radio stations in your car anymore in Japan? And Taka-san's like, no, we got him. And he flipped it over. He could listen to the radio, too. But I was like, that's really dangerous.
Is that why we're on the video stream? Because we're going to be able to watch us while
Yes,
driving?
you could watch us. I thought that was pretty interesting. And all of they have really super cool cars. Like the Japanese imports that we get aren't as cool as what's going on in Japan. Now, there's different, the roads are narrow, or it's different types of stuff, but they have really cool things. And the only foreign car, I didn't see any American cars in Japan, but I saw a lot of Mercedes-Benz.
Oh,
Mercedes-Benz was pretty big in Japan, so that was really the only foreign car. Anyway, 11:35, I'll tell you more about some of the sites, but that was just an observation about automobiles in Japan. All right, continuing our coverage of what's going on between Israel and Iran. Elena Treen, CNN report at the White House just moments ago.
It's actually out there on the south lawn of the White House when the president came out and spoke with reporters. He was visibly very frustrated and essentially downright angry, Wolf. And you could see that in not only the language, of course, the profanity that he was using, but the rhetoric and the tone, really, of how he was saying it. Now, he did come out and say he was really frustrated with both countries because he believed that they were taking advantage of the opportunity that the ceasefire presented, and especially the delay that he had, waiting until a certain time. He said that they went out, particularly Israel, and dropped what he called a load of bombs. And then he said perhaps both sides violated the deal. Take a listen to how he put it.
I think they both violated it. I'm not sure they did it intentionally. They couldn't rein people back. I don't like the fact that Israel went out this morning at all, and I'm going to see if I can stop it.
So as you could hear there, he said that he didn't like what Israel did, and he said he's going to see if he could stop it. He told us as soon as he finished speaking with us, he was going to make some calls. Well, we can report that the president called Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and did explain to him what a source told me, a White House official said was an exceptionally firm and direct call, and he explained what needed to happen to sustain a ceasefire. And then we later saw the president post on social media, Wolf, saying that after speaking with the Israeli Prime Minister, that essentially that the ceasefire is holding and that Israel is not going to attack Iran. So it does seem like he was able to get Israel back on the same page, and the president arguing that the ceasefire is still in effect.
Lana Treen at the White House just moments ago. We'll continue to cover the Israel-Iran situation throughout the day. Scott Slade's going to join us live at 10:35, making his triumphant return to the Mark Arum Show. He's got a lot to say about the ceasefire between Israel and Iran. So Scott Slade joins us at 10:35. First, though, let's check the Tuesday morning sweltering ride around town. Live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center, Mark McKay.
A lot of people are hot under the collar, stuck in a big jam on the west side perimeter, caused in part by a red alert last hour, which had 285 northbound shut down for the better part of 30 minutes. All lanes are open north of Highway 166, Langford Parkway. There was a rollover crash at Cascade Road, exit 7, but I'm seeing a jam that's still forming below Washington Road, trying to get past Camp Creek Parkway. We'll scan the jam cam if there's something new, trying to get past exit 2. The downtown delays are extra heavy because a lot of folks avoided the west side perimeter. So heavy on the connector northbound leaving 166 Langford Parkway, still up to Midtown. Southbound 75-85 slow leaving 17th Street past Georgia Tech. This report sponsored by the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. The 2025 FIFA Club World Cup is coming to Atlanta. Get ready for a global soccer showdown at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Just don't watch history, be there. Get tickets at FIFA.com/tickets. Smiler Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
Wednesday, starting at 5 a.m. on Atlanta's Morning News, heat advisory in effect for the metro, so you want to pay special attention to our exclusive 5-day forecast. Breaking metro stories, 2 and triple team traffic, get you to work on time. Plus the latest in the U.S., Iran, Israel story. How's the ceasefire holding up or not? Plus the only way Clark Howard says you can retire when you want to. I'm Chris Chandler. Join us for Atlanta's Morning News on WSB.
Can you remember the last time you turned on the shower and all you got was cold water? Hopefully you don't have a fresh memory of that. Hey, it's Mark Aram. I want you to check out my friends at Reliable Heating and Air. Great new deal on a new water heater. Check it out, guys. Only $29.99 a month and no payments for 3 whole months. No credit check and an unbeatable lifetime warranty. Or you want to go tankless? It's only $59.99 a month and you can enjoy endless hot water. Think about those long, hot showers in the cold, cold winter. Their new water heater installations come with their 100% satisfaction guarantee, same-day water heater installation guaranteed, or they pay you $300. And with their Comfort as a Service program, you get lifetime repair and maintenance, no additional charges ever, no money down, and just easy monthly payments. So new water heater, $29.99 a month, or tankless, $59.99 a month. Amazing deal. Amazing hot water, amazing service. Go online to reliableair.com.
It's Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I've got something important to talk to you about, your 401k. If you have changed jobs, there are 2 very important considerations. You don't want to leave your 401k behind, and you don't want to roll it over into your new company plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. 401ks will often have limited investments or age-based options. Since companies have to make choices to suit all employees, they may not be suited to you, which could cost you fees and money. When you roll over your 401k into an IRA, you not only keep your money growing tax deferred, but you also gain access to a world of investment options specifically designed for you. Trajan Wealth and our fiduciary advisors have helped thousands, and we can do the same for you. Call 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. We can reawaken any space to make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
If someone causes you to lay your bike down, hiring proper representation is critical. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler. Don't hire a lawyer because of slick commercials. Hire a local lawyer that specializes in motorcycle injury law. You can trust my friends at Steel Horse Law. Attorney George Stein is a rider and understands bikers' needs. Steel Horse Law has represented thousands of local riders and can maximize the value of your recovery. Schedule your free consultation at steelhorselaw.com.
Mom and Dad seem different after a European-style holiday on MSC Cruises.
Call us Cloud and Yvette.
The ship had restaurants, shops, and nightlife.
La Galleria.
And of course, American touches, like an aqua park and a sweets shop.
American je ne sais quoi.
Mom, you're from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, Kevin.
Book now and save up to 30% off, plus kids sale free.
MSC Cruises. Let's holiday. To book, visit msccruises.com or contact your travel advisor. Restrictions apply. Ships registered in Panama and Malta.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Summer is peak hosting season, right? Don't let a grimy house keep you from having company over. It's Chris Chandler, and Wise Guys Pro Wash got my place clean and bright and guest ready in just one day. They handle everything, house and deck, driveway, even my dirty roof, and their soft wash kept everything safe. No paint peel, no damage, just clean. If you got people coming over this summer, be sure Wise Guys Pro Wash comes by first. Mention me, Chris Chandler, for $70 off at wiseguysprowash.com. Book now before they fill up.
I tried to drink it away.
One other musical birthday today, 39-year-old Solange Knowles. You're saying who? That's Beyonce's sister, younger sister. That's got to be tough, Deborah. Being Beyonce's sister.
Probably,
Yeah.
And she wasn't even in the other band either.
No, exactly. She won a Grammy, though, for that Cranes in the Sky song, which I've never heard. So anyway, I got to feel bad for Beyonce's little sister. Yesterday on the show, I talked about the tragic air balloon disaster. 8 people died in an air balloon. Scratch that off my list. I do not want to get in a hot air balloon. Years ago, I scratched off the skydiving bucket list thing. I wanted to do when I was in college. I was like, yeah, I want to do it. As I got older, I'm like, no, I don't want to skydive. We had a skydiving fatality here in Georgia, Deborah.
Yeah, a very experienced skydiver, too. She passed away Saturday after her main parachute collided with another jumper's gear. They were coming down towards the landing area, and I guess her parachute hit it. And because they were so close to landing, she couldn't deploy the backup chute. And so she fell to her death on the tarmac. Yeah, it's very sad.
And she was experienced, too, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like
she had like
newbie.
over 160 jumps to her name.
Yeah, I regret not doing it when I wanted to as a kid, because I'm sure it's an amazing experience. I think it was a financial thing. I think it was like $120, and I was like, where am I going to get $120? And then as I get older, I'm like, no, I have no desire to jump out of a plane. Yoki, have you done it yet? If not, do it now. Do you have any desire to skydive?
I did, but like you said, seeing all these stories and stuff kind of is putting me off.
So you're done. What if Erickson pays for it?
Yes.
All right. There you go. He's on the Erickson payroll, so he can get away with stuff like that. All right, so rest in peace to that skydiver. Fell to her death here in Georgia. All right, news, weather, and traffic in 3 minutes. When we come back, Scott Slade is going to join us live, making his triumphant return to the Mark Arum Show. He's got an interesting perspective on the current situation in the Mideast. Coming up at 11:05, big SCOTUS decision yesterday. A big win for President Trump. Greg Storr from Bloomberg News with the latest there. And then 11 o'clock hour, Deborah's got tickets to see the B-52s and Devo, Ameris Bank Amphitheater, October 25th. I'll tell you more about my Japanese vacation after the news at 11:35 as well. If you want to see the pictures, though, they're up on my Instagram account, at Mark Arum, MarkArum.
Guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate is the easiest way to sell your home. Now you can save time and make the most money and eliminate all hassles this summer. Hey, Sean Hannity, Mark Spain Real Estate can sell your home with the strongest all-cash offer in the industry and help you move on your timeline. With over 67,000 satisfied clients, you can trust the most experienced real estate team in the U.S. to sell your home fast. Go to markspain.com and start packing.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-2798. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-2798. That's 800-575-2798. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The big focus in America today is on your health, and more people looking beyond pills and steroids and surgery. Hey, it's Mark Arum for QC Kinetics. At QC Kinetics, they've been on the cutting edge of this medical revolution since 2018. Using regenerative medicine, they have helped tens of thousands of people get lasting joint pain relief using natural treatments that harness your body's own healing power. The truth is, regenerative medicine used to be an alternative treatment. Now it's mainstream, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader. They're well well-respected protocols include potent and powerful cellular-level treatments to revitalize and restore damaged joint tissue. They're not masking the pain. They're going after the very source of it. Yes, you can say goodbye to that chronic pain and live your best life. Learn more about this revolutionary treatment and get a free consultation. Call QC Kinetics now. 770-285-8026. 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 10:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by your Metro Atlanta Amco dealers. Our top story, extreme heat. It's blanketing the nation.
It feels like an armpit out here.
It's boiling. It feels like over 100 degrees.
About 150 million Americans along the East Coast, South, and Midwest will be scorching. Some places could be close to 110 today. And we are in the heat here, too, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards.
The forecast high for today is 98 degrees, which is trending about 10 degrees above average. But it's not just the temperature, it's also the humidity. The humidity prevents the sweat on your skin from evaporating. That's the process that's supposed to cool you down. But when it's too humid, then it's not going to work properly. And so the humidity makes it feel more like 100 to 105 degrees.
And we will be under a heat advisory this afternoon starting at 1 o'clock. It's already hot out there, 85 degrees here in Midtown Atlanta. There are breaking new developments this morning in the conflict between Iran and Israel. President Trump saying that a ceasefire between Israel and Iran is holding after Israel accused Tehran of firing missiles on Israel. Now, the Iranian military has denied firing the missiles, which Israel says were intercepted. The truce came after U.S. bombers attacked Iranian nuclear sites in an effort to prevent the country from developing a nuclear weapon. General John Allen is the former U.S. Central Command deputy commander.
It's non-negotiable, as I understand the president's position, as I understand Bibi Netanyahu's position. And so we're going to have a conversation that starts from there and ultimately can branch out into other conditions associated with a peaceful relationship of Iran with Israel and with the region.
Now be sure and stay with us or check back often for updates on the conflict between Iran and Israel. We'll bring you any breaking developments as they come in. Atlanta police arrest 4 suspects in what they're calling a hate crime in Midtown. It's all new here at 10:30.
The vandalism is reported near the area's famous Rainbow Crosswalk at 10th and Piedmont. Officers discover a group recording themselves cutting pride flags outside Blake's on the Park while doing scooter stunts in the street. A witness calls 911 and officers track down 4 of the 6 suspects. 2 speed away. Those captured are facing several charges, including obstruction and criminal damage to property, as well as a pending hate crime charge. 3 of the suspects are in their late teens. The youngest is 16. Officers cite his father for failing to supervise his son. Jennifer Perry, 95.5 WSB.
Wellstar releasing new details today on a newly proposed hospital for the Ackworth area. The health system saying that the $1 billion facility would be 8 stories and 675,000 square feet, bringing more than 1,500 jobs to that region. It would include 70 emergency department bays and 8 operating rooms. Wellstar says that it would help relieve pressure on Wellstar Kennestone Hospital in Marietta. The hospital must still undergo an approval process, though. If you are a homeowner in Fulton County, you're being urged to check your 2025 property tax assessment online. The county saying that they have mailed out those notices, but given reports of delayed mail delivery recently, the county says it's a good idea to go ahead and look online. By law, you have 45 days to appeal. That deadline, by the way, is August 1st. And a new report shows more Georgia homeowners are falling behind on their mortgage payments.
Intercontinental Exchange looked at mortgage delinquencies, and its initial report for May shows that nearly 1 1/3% of Georgia mortgages were 90 days or more delinquent. That put the state behind only Alabama, Louisiana, and Mississippi.
That is Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti. She says overall delinquencies did slip last month and are still higher, though, than they were this time last year. Let's take a look at the markets. We're in the green right now. The Dow up 335 at 42,916. NASDAQ also in positive territory, up more than a full percent, and the S&P's not far behind. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. We turn now to Smiling Mark McKay. He has a look at your roads.
All right, Sabrina, we just had Georgia State Patrol protecting a breakdown. Actually, it was a tire changer. A van trying to change a tire on the downtown connector. They actually completed the move, and they've moved out of the left center lane, 7585 southbound at Georgia Tech North Avenue exit 243. But that is added adding to the extra heavy delays heading into Midtown on 75 and especially on 85, quite slow back at Georgia 400. The northbound delays on the connector still in place as you roll from 166 University Avenue area trying to get up to I-20. I-20 has thinned out on both sides of town, but a rolled over tanker truck in Lithonia has the ramp shut down from Turner Hill Road onto I-20 East. Smile the Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid today, potentially the hottest day so far this year, high 98. The heat index value is closer to 100 to 105. Lows tonight in the mid-70s. Tomorrow, another hot afternoon, high 97. Watching for scattered showers and thunderstorms late in the afternoon through the evening hours.
All right, I hope your air conditioning is working today. It's 86 already in Johns Creek and Kennesaw, 88 in Riverdale. We'll have more news at 11 o'clock, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Is your summer vacation going to be a week at the beach or a week in the backyard standing in the kiddie pool?
If you listen to 95.5 WSB, that week at the beach could be yours. It's $1,000 Thursdays on WSB.
Your chance to win $1,000 every hour between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. on Thursdays.
Listen for the keyword. Enter the keyword at WSBradio.com or on the WSB app within that hour.
Get all the info at WSBradio.com.
$1,000 Thursdays, beginning this Thursday.
From 95.5 WSB.
Where Atlanta wins.
Depends on your definition. There's numerous definitions of Article 5. You know that, right?
President Trump on board Air Force One heading to the NATO summit in the Netherlands. When we come back, we'll continue our team coverage of the Israel-Iran situation. Scott Slade joins us live next on the Mark Arum Show.
This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, Atlanta's engagement ring and wedding band destination since 1939. Why? Hand-picked diamonds that just shine brighter at a value that can't be beat. An unbelievable selection of engagement rings and wedding bands. And because we've been jewelers for generations, we can bring your dream ring to life with full custom abilities. So when it's time for the next chapter, come see Atlanta's most trusted jeweler since 1939, D. Geller & Son, in Kennesaw and Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
Listen up, because women have long waited for the world to recognize the importance of our health.
Northside Hospital goes beyond "we hear you" to "we're out here with you," because women deserve more than open ears.
They deserve open doors, and 1 ounce of action is worth 1,000 words.
Northside is rolling up our sleeves and getting to work for you.
This is a house call. Heard. Learn more at northside.com/heard.
We all know moving is a hassle. What if you could make it way easier and get paid twice? That's right, you sell your house, and instead of one check, you get two. I know it sounds like one of those, but wait, there's more kind of commercials. But this one's real. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler. Orchard gives you cash before your house sells, so you can go ahead and buy your next place now. Meanwhile, Orchard's team is back at your old place, handling repairs, staging, even upgrades, basically transforming it into the best version of your old home. Then they sell it, usually for more. And yeah, you get that money too. So here's the math. Cash when you buy equals payday 1. Cash when you sell equals payday 2. Boom. No spreadsheets required. Just head to orchard.com and get a free home valuation to see how it works. No gimmicks, no stress, no camping out in your cousin's basement. Just a smarter way to move. That's Orchard.
10:37 on an extremely busy news day Tuesday. Welcome back, friends. Mark Arum and crew with you till noon. Coming up in 30 minutes, the latest on the Supreme Court decision yesterday. We're going to check in with Bloomberg News. 11:35, Deborah's got tickets to give away to see the B-52s and Devo, Amerisbank Amphitheater, on October 22nd. In the meantime, we continue our team coverage of Iran and Israel. Joining us live, a big welcome back to the show, Mr. Scott Slade. Scott, good morning, my friend.
Mark, good morning. How in the world are you?
I'm fine. The question is, how are you feeling, brother?
I'm doing well. It's been 75 days since my stem cell bone marrow transplant to fight multiple myeloma cancer. My immune system is building one day at a time, and slowly but surely they're releasing me from my bubble.
Oh, so have you been in an actual bubble or just a hypothetical bubble at home?
Hypothetical.
Okay.
I mean, it's just, I just have to be careful because I have the immune system of a 2-month-old baby right now.
So what do you miss most about leaving the house? Like, what are you dying to do?
Oh, going out to eat,
yeah.
Maybe going to see a show in a small venue, that kind of thing. But like I said, but slowly but surely, wear a mask. I can go to the store when it's not too crowded, things like that. So I'm good. I'm really good.
Excellent. Well, you sound fantastic. I'm really happy to have you back on the show, especially getting your expertise on what's going on in the Mideast. Folks that don't know, Atlanta's Morning News launched the day of the Gulf War back in 91. Was it 91?
Yep, January 1991. The ground part of the war was beginning that day. In January of 91. And, it seems like since that time, Mark, we've been talking to Emory University's Kenneth Stein. And he is my go-to guy here for anything about the Middle East. And while we wait to see if the ceasefire is going to hold, I think it's pretty important to analyze how we got here. Dr. Stein is now the Emory University Professor Emeritus of Contemporary Middle Eastern History, Political Science, and Israel Studies. And if I may, let me share part of our recent conversation with you. Why did the U.S. choose to become engaged with Iran now? What was it, only to help Israel?
I think the Trump administration understood that Israel had put its own troops and people on the line in trying to push back the Iranian aggressive efforts. I also think that this was not just to back a friend and an ally. I think this had a great deal to do, with the fear that Iran, if it increased its conventional and achieved nuclear weapon capacity, it would become a regional North Korea, and that could threaten and coerce America's friends in the Persian Gulf. And here I refer to Qatar, the UAE, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia. So I think it was more regional than it was necessarily just Israel. And I think Egypt and Jordan also become beneficiaries if Iran is defanged.
I see where Iran has actually fired missiles on a U.S. base in Qatar, but no casualties or even known damage to the United States Air Base there. And with that said, what is your sense of Iranian retaliation?
Well, I think the Iranian government, the regime, needs to show that it can't just absorb this shock from the United States, or the shock from the United States and previous to that Israel, or afterwards from Israel. I think it needs to show some reply. Now, is this a measured reply, or are there going to be others? And we have to see what is the level of retaliation. We don't even know, Scott, if in the midst of this retaliation, or maybe it was just a reply, maybe it's not a retaliation, is there ongoing diplomacy between the U.S. government and the Iranian regime or government through a third party at this very moment? And we don't know if this retaliation actually came from an element in the current Iranian government, or a rogue element. Remember the movie Sum of All Fears? Mm-hmm. Remember the movie where there was a renegade Russian group of people who got a hold of a weapon and fired it at the United States, and the president of the United States had to evaluate, was this really an attack on America, or Baltimore, whatever it was, or was this something done by a small group? So I think your intelligence on the ground will tell you a lot, and the communications you have currently with the Iranian government should inform you of how you evaluate it as the commander-in-chief.
Speaking of the commander-in-chief, how do you evaluate President Trump's actions with Iran so far?
If this had happened during his first administration, I don't think he would have been as sophisticated and would have listened as much. I think second-term presidents who don't go through Washington have a different feel than the first-term president. I think President Reagan, President Clinton, President Carter, President Bush, in their first term, learned a lot very quickly, but it wasn't their second term. And in this particular case, I think he threaded a needle. It wasn't a desired transaction, but I think he wanted to remove Iran's nuclear threat and avoid regional chaos. Now, we don't know if he's going to avoid that, but I think he wanted to pursue very high pressure, limited escalation strategy. And I think he did that well. And I think it did well because he had incredible intelligence and very talented military advisors. And this was extraordinarily well planned. I don't know whether there will be regime collapse or regime change. Again, we're still in the middle of this. We're in the middle of a tunnel. We don't know what it looks like on the other side yet. So it could be very fresh air on the other side, or it could be an oncoming train.
Yeah. Dr. Kenneth Stein, Emory University Professor Emeritus of Contemporary Middle Eastern History, Political Science, and Israel Studies. And Mark, Dr. Stein doesn't think the U.S. is ever going to be involved with a boots-on-the-ground presence in this latest conflict, but wow, I've heard the Donald Trump soundbite, President Trump speaking to the press as he was leaving the White House this morning, and there's no question about how he feels about testing the limits of the ceasefire.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I'm going to play that for folks that maybe are just getting in the car and didn't hear. President Trump was taking questions this morning on the South Lawn before he got on Marine One to take him to Air Force One to the NATO summit. Not mincing words.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
I mean, wow. And then he made the phone call to the Israeli prime minister to turn the planes around, and they did. I can only imagine the language the president used with the prime minister on that phone call.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Do you get the feeling that Iran is looking for an off-ramp here? I mean, they telegraphed that strike of that U.S. base in Qatar before it ever happened.
100%. And I think it might be that they're like we've been talking about regime change. The regime in power is like, well, we just need to do what we can to stay in power. So let's get to the negotiating table. And I don't think people realize, unless you've been, knee deep in the story for as long as we've been covering it, how weakened Iran is. For over the last 6 years, they've been using their militant proxies, their terror organizations to do their dirty work. And 4 of the 6 are basically neutered now. I mean, Iran has not been this weak in a long time. And we saw what Israel did with their preliminary airstrikes, taking out so much stuff that the United States was able to get those stealth bombers in there and do the precision drops. Talk about that for a second, Scott, as my aviation guy. The stealth bombers had to refuel 5 times between Missouri and Iran to get that done.
18 hours over there, 15 hours coming back. And that's a cramped cockpit.
Yes.
That's a cramped flight deck with many refueling. I mean, that just speaks to the dedication of these airmen and airwomen who can make this kind of thing happen.
Yeah.
I've even heard that they would actually make one hole with one of the bunker busters and follow it with another one to the same location.
Oh, so double dipping.
Boy,
Yeah.
that's precision shooting. I mean,
Indeed.
that's amazing. So,
Phenomenal job by the crew there. I just had a 10-hour flight in luxury. Never mind a 15-hour flight. I think in a folding chair is what they use when they take a break. There's a folding chair behind the cockpit that they can rest on.
Yeah. Something else I'm looking at here is how the people of Iran are feeling about this. We haven't heard much about this. There's 90 million people there, and are they tired of this constant exposure to being the bad boy in the Middle East?
I think so. And I think there's definitely regime change in the air, but to make that happen is going to be a tall task, but certainly a story worth monitoring. Scott, so good to have you back, my friend. Great stuff, great insight there from the Professor Emeritus. Really good stuff.
Hey, thanks very much. He's a treasure, and it's really nice to be back with you.
Yeah, let me know when you're fully out of the bubble. We'll go to lunch, my friend.
That sounds great.
All right,
Okay.
there you go. Scott Slade rejoining us every Tuesday here on the Mark Arum Show. When we come back, we'll continue our coverage of Israel and Iran. President Trump should be landing in the Netherlands any moment now. We'll update that as well. But first, on this steamy Tuesday morning. We got to check the roads. They've been a bear all morning long, Smiling Mark McKay.
Yeah, and quite a sight now in Lithonia on the Jam Cam. Tipped over tanker truck has shut down the ramp from Turner Hill Road to I-20 eastbound. Until they get that open, you'll have to find an alternate to head outbound toward Conyers. The inbound delays have really eased up through the work zone in DeKalb, leaving Panola Road to Wesley Chapel. Downtown delays are still in place, 75-85 northbound, leaving University Avenue, working up to Midtown. Midtown delays on the southbound side are easing. Had a stalled out a van. It was a van that was actually out there changing a tire. Fortunately, Georgia State Patrol were able to get behind him and protect that second lane from the left. They have now opened all lanes, and the connector southbound a bit sluggish past Georgia Tech. Smiler Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
Why do you always go after the game show host of The Price is Right?
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
Don't tell me how to handle my life.
Eric Von Hessler.
Or anyone else.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Man's best friend, loyal, trustworthy, dependable. Aw, that's Rufus, the bulldog, the chief barking officer for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. Hey, it's Dave Baker. For over 30 years, Findlay Roofing's been your roof's best friend. They're the perfect match for your roof. Findlay is loyal with a lifetime warranty, trustworthy with upfront pricing, and dependable with the highest quality work. When you're not seeing Rufus on Findlay Roofing trucks, billboards, and TV commercials, he loves playing games like Fetch and Tug of War. But Rufus knows that if you play games with your roof, you'll lose every time. You'll always win with Findlay. They're the extra effort experts, making sure you have a remarkable roof replacement experience. When it comes to your roof, think of Rufus and Findlay first. 0% financing available. Schedule your free roof analysis, no obligation, no charge at FindlayRoofing.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, every week on the show, we offer folks something we call the Portfolio X-Ray. I was hoping you could walk us through that process and tell us why the information it uncovers is so powerful.
Yeah, so the reason we love doing the Portfolio X-Ray for you is we do that behind the scenes. Everybody's extremely busy. Nobody wants to waste time in traffic. If you call in, we will ask you for some information via the phone. Once you've given us that information, we go to work and we put all the hours in developing the report. And I commit this to you. The Portfolio X-Ray is eye-opening. At least 90+% of the time, we can find 2 or 3 golden nuggets in there that you were not aware of that we can either change in your current portfolio mix for you. It's called a 401k optimizer. Or if we manage the assets for you, we certainly can recommend how to diversify away from some of the troubling points that are exposed during the Portfolio X-Ray. Once we've got that, then we'll have you in for your initial consultation. We will present the Portfolio X-Ray to you and walk you through the high points of it. And that's a document that you get to take with you. It's like getting a financial physical. Mm-hmm. So how many of you avoided going to the doctor for the annual physical last year? You do the same thing with your financial life. You ignore it. You keep pumping money into your 401k. You hope that it's going well, and I can tell you that hope is not a good investment or financial planning strategy. You need to know. So if you want to know, call us.
The Portfolio X-Ray is complimentary. Give Hoffman Financial Group a call to schedule yours today. 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Got a leaky pipe, heating, or cooling issue? Ace Hardware Home Services is around the corner with everything you need to fix it, including the expert to do the fixing. We're not just the helpful hardware folks. We're the helpful home service and repair folks, too. From plumbing to heating and cooling, the licensed and insured experts at Ace Hardware Home Services are ready to keep your home running smoothly all year long. Online at aceHardwareHomeservices.com or call 770-233-7787.
The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate's the easiest way to sell your home. You can save time, make the most money, and eliminate the hassle this summer. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our offers are the strongest in the industry. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home and skip the hassle of constant cleaning and costly repairs. There's no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Our guaranteed offer keeps you in control. Go Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 50 and tired of your wireless bill getting higher and higher, there are 4 things to consider. 1, how much data are you really using? As we get older, we use less data on our wireless phone, but you're probably still paying for an unlimited plan that was designed for 20-somethings. 2, if you see "Get a phone on us," get your sneakers out and run the other way. No one is giving you a free phone. You are paying for that phone over time with an overpriced rate plan and a long-term commitment. 3, check the fine print on that $15 a month plan. It's probably an intro price that'll double or triple later. You might even have to pay for several months of service up front. Number 4, be aware of cable company wireless plans. Most of your usage will be on Wi-Fi instead of 5G, and your calls and battery life could suffer. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide service without the big wireless bill. Our plans start at just $20 a month.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Yeah, I would expect this to hold, and sort of it'll be interesting now to see what happens next in Iran.
CBS News correspondent Robert Berger earlier on the show live from Jerusalem saying it looks like the ceasefire is back on. Good news there. What's the perspective, though, in Iran? CNN's Frederick Pleiken in Tehran moments ago.
After the Israelis made that claim that Iranian missiles were flying towards Israeli territory, I got in touch with a senior Iranian official who flat out denied that the Iranians had fired any missiles toward Israel after the ceasefire went into effect. In fact, they said that the moment that time had come for the ceasefire, that no missiles had been fired from the Iranian side. The Iranians also now warning the Israelis against hitting Iranian territory, saying that would open up Iranian retaliation once again, and that everything within what they call the occupied territories, of course, meaning all of Israel, would then become a target for Iran. So some tough language coming out of Tehran here as well. Also, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, which of course is that elite wing of Iran's military, claiming that there were several violations of its soil, as they put it, by the Israelis, possibly meaning incursion by some sort of aircraft in the hours after the ceasefire went into effect. What we're seeing right now, actually, here in Tehran is that things are fairly calm here. I was on the streets a little bit earlier today. There's a lot of people who are out driving, some shops opening up. But what the president said there about the Israelis unloading overnight after the ceasefire deal was announced was definitely something that we saw and we felt here from our vantage point as well. I was up here on this roof when we all of a sudden heard Israeli Air Force planes what seemed to be Israeli Air Force planes streaking past, and then extremely loud explosions rocking our building and then rocking also a lot of other places in central Tehran as well. We saw a lot of outgoing anti-aircraft gunfire coming from the Iranians. The skies here over the city really were illuminated. That went on for the better part of, I would say, about half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe up to an hour, where those loud bangs continue. The Israelis at some point even issued evacuation orders for certain districts here in around 2:30 in the morning, when obviously people in those districts most probably would have been asleep. So it certainly was a night that saw a lot of kinetic activity. And as of right now, the Iranians are saying that their forces are not firing back. The foreign minister of this country, Abbas Araghchi, he came out and said that Iranian forces had fired until the moment that the ceasefire went into effect, which the Iranians consider to be 4 a.m. In the morning, and that since then, no projectiles, they say, have been fired from Iran towards Israeli territory.
Frederick Pleiken, CNN in Tehran this morning. That dude needs a raise. That dude needs a raise. Cautiously optimistic, though, that the ceasefire is holding. We'll continuously update this story throughout the day here on 95.5 WSB. When we come back after news, weather, and traffic, big victory for President Trump from the Supreme Court regarding deportations. We'll go in depth next. Social media is active throughout the broadcast at Mark Aram and at WSB Radio.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Rates are up, rates are down. Every day it's something different. If you're curious about what's going on and when the best time will be to buy or refinance your home, call the experts I trust at Myland. This is Scott Slade. There's a reason the guys and gals at Myland are able to close loans that other local banks just can't. The folks at Myland are local and somebody you can trust to make sure you get the best loan for your needs at the best rate. You don't have to take my word for it. Here are lines from some recent testimonials. Myland kept me up to date and informed with every step of the way. They make you feel like you're one of the most important clients they they have. Myland specializes in home financing, and they've seen it all. So whether you want to access the equity in your home to pay for other debts, buy a new home, or anything else, Myland is the place to call. 770-817-2000. That's 770-817-2000. Or online, it's myland.com. Spelled it M-I-L-E-N-D. NMLS and Georgia Mortgage License C148769. Myland's located at 8995 Westside Parkway, Alpharetta, Georgia 30009. Myland is an equal housing lender.
Atlanta DIY landlords, listen up. If you're exhausted from managing your rental properties all by yourself, my friends at Renters Warehouse Atlanta offering a 90-day test drive. Hire Renters Warehouse to manage your rental property for a low flat monthly fee as low as $115. If you're not satisfied at any time in the first 3 months, you can fire them. Get your management fees back. What do you get for that low flat monthly fee? A dedicated property management team, maintenance coordination, move in and move out property condition reports, advanced tenant screening with a 9-month tenant warranty, professional photography and videography, lease renewal processing and negotiations, online rent collection, monthly owner cash flow statements, and more. Renters Warehouse, so confident you'll love their service, they want an addition for your business. Choice is yours. Keep DIYing or see how Renters Warehouse can make your life easier. Start your 90-day test drive today. Go to rwatlanta.com or call 404-662-2322, 404-662-2322.
News, weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB. Atlanta's News and Talk.
Good morning. It's 11 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. Our top story in the Middle East, a fragile ceasefire between Israel and Iran announced by President Trump appears to be holding despite some military exchanges overnight. Correspondent Holly Williams is following developments from Iraq.
After the ceasefire went into effect, Israel said that Iran launched 3 missiles, although there was no damage, no casualties. And then Israel said that it retaliated by destroying a radar array inside Iran, but then refrained from any further retaliation after a phone conversation between President Trump and Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Be sure and stay with us or check back often for updates on the situation there in the Middle East. Now, get ready for the air conditioning to be cranked up today. We are possibly going to have the hottest day of the year so far. We're looking for an afternoon high around 98.
It's going to feel much hotter than what the thermometer's telling you. We're looking at the heat index values closer to 100 to 105. That's why the heat advisory goes into effect this afternoon.
And we'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast with WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll tell us if and when relief is on the way. Atlanta police have now arrested 4 suspects in what they're calling a hate crime in Midtown Atlanta.
The vandalism is reported near the area's famous Rainbow Crosswalk at 10th and Piedmont. Officers discover a group recording themselves cutting pride flags outside Blake's on the Park while doing scooter stunts in the street. A witness calls 911 and officers track down 4 of the 6 suspects. 2 speed away. Those captured are facing several charges, including obstruction and criminal damage to property, as well as a pending hate crime charge. 3 of the suspects are in their late teens. The youngest is 16. Officers cite his father for failing to supervise his son. Jennifer Perry, 95.5 WSB.
Drive a Ford. There's a recall. 132,000 Ford vehicles are under recall because they could be a danger to other cars and trucks. Jeff Gilbert explains.
The problem is with parts that can fly off of 2020 to 25 model year Lincoln Aviators. Those parts could strike other vehicles and cause a crash. Ford blames the problem on what it calls insufficient adhesive retention. Dealers will inspect the vehicles and make any needed repairs.
Happening right now, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is answering questions about HHS policy in front of the House Energy Health Subcommittee hearing. It's over the agency's 2026 budget.
We will fund cutting-edge research at the NIH while cutting risky or non-essential studies. That includes ending gain-of-function experiments and research based upon radical gender ideology.
Also happening this hour, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell telling a House hearing this morning that tariffs present a questionable factor for long-range stability and worries over inflation. Therefore, he suggests the committee that sets rates will hold the line for now.
Wide set of indicators suggests that the conditions in the labor market are broadly in balance and consistent with maximum employment. The labor market is not a source of significant inflationary pressures.
And again, the Fed chair is testifying before the House Financial Services Committee. Well, the U.S. gained an average of 1,000 new millionaires a day in 2024. Newly released data from the investment bank UBS shows the U.S. had the fastest growth of millionaires of any nation, China coming in number 2. According to the bank's Global Wealth Report 2025, real estate values were the largest single driver of wealth growth worldwide. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow's up 388 at 42,970. So the Dow's up almost a full percent. NASDAQ's up more than a full percent. And the S&P is right behind. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Sabrina. I hope the air conditioning is working in the vehicle today because, like you said, you're going to need it, especially if you're stuck in the traffic downtown where it's slow. 75-85 northbound, starting just before University Avenue, trying to make your way up to Freedom Parkway. That's where it will break free. In DeKalb County, right lane construction, I-20 eastbound between Wesley Chapel and Panola Road. And overturned tanker truck crash cleanup in Lithonia, blocking the Turner Hill ramp to I-20 eastbound. You're going to have to make your way over to Sigmund Road or west of there, Lithonia Industrial Road, Evans Mill will be some alternates to access I-20 to head out toward Conyers. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid today, high 98. The heat index closer to 100 to 105. Lows tonight in the mid-70s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high 97. A few pop-up showers and thunderstorms through the afternoon.
It is already warm out there. 89 in Stockbridge. Jefferson, you have 86 degrees. Here in Midtown Atlanta, it is 87, but it feels like 92. We'll have more news at 11:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
I want this town to be near you.
11:05 on a scorching hot Tuesday news day. Welcome back, friends. Mark Aram and crew with you till noon. Coming up in 30 minutes, Deborah's got tickets to give away to see the B-52s in Devo. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my Japanese vacation, and obviously we're going to continuously update the latest. What looks like, fingers crossed, the ceasefire now holding again between Israel and Iran. On a normal day, we'd be talking, the top story might be yesterday's Supreme Court decision, but with all the strife in the Middle East, this has kind of been bumped down the ledger, but an important story nonetheless. Joining us from Bloomberg News covering the story, Greg Stohr. Greg, good morning as always. Thanks for your time.
My pleasure, Mark.
So this Supreme Court decision regarding deportation procedures, what was the case that the Supreme Court weighed in on yesterday, and what was the verdict?
This is a case involving people who are being deported to a so-called third country, not their homeland, not a place that's designated under a removal order, but a place like maybe South Sudan, where that will take them. And a judge had said that you can't do that, administration, unless you give people at least 10 days notice so they have a chance to say, hey, there's a real risk I'll be tortured or persecuted if you send me there. The Supreme Court yesterday lifted that order. It stayed that order so that the administration is now again free to send people to these so-called third countries without giving them more than just a few minutes' notice.
So hypothetically, someone is in the United States illegally from Canada, and the administration or the Homeland Security wants to deport them to Zimbabwe. That is now allowable by law.
There's at least no court order that's holding that up. Now, the administration says we're only doing this with the worst of the worst, people whose crimes are so bad that their home countries won't take them back. The folks on the other side say that's not true, that it's a broader group of people than that who are affected. But yes, you are right. Right now, there is no legal impediment.
What was the split on the Supreme Court? Did we get was this along conservative lines, liberal lines?
It was. There were three dissenters. The court's three liberals, the three Democratic appointees. They were the ones who dissented. They did so in very, very strong terms. Justice Sotomayor wrote for the group. She said, I cannot join so gross an abuse of the court's authority. And basically she said the way we got here was that the administration had violated multiple court orders, including an order including by trying to send a group of migrants to South Sudan. And she said the court was, by lifting the block, was endorsing that sort of lawlessness.
Interesting. Greg Stohr from Bloomberg News joining us live on the Mark Aram Show. Was there a justice that signed off on the affirmative?
So the court as a whole said nothing. They didn't give any explanation.
Oh, okay.
They didn't even explicitly, and this is frequently happens with these emergency orders, which are not things where they have full argument. they don't even list the names of the justices in the majority. So it's actually not 100% sure that somebody didn't, quietly dissent and just chose not to make it public. But no, the majority gave no explanation and no response to the things that Justice Sotomayor said in dissent.
So just from a layman's view, big win for the Trump administration?
It is a very big win for the Trump administration. It's still a little unclear as to the extent of what it means. There's some skirmishing, more than skirmishing, some fighting going on at the lower court about exactly what the Supreme Court's order covers. And there's also, you may remember a number of weeks ago, the Supreme Court said, at least with regarding to folks who the administration was trying to send to El Salvador in prison under this law known as the Alien Enemies Act, that those people have to be given meaningful notice, a chance to challenge their removal there or being sent there. And it's not at all clear how what the court did yesterday can be squared with that. So there's going to be more that maybe will flesh out what exactly the Supreme Court thinks is required when the administration is trying to send an undocumented immigrant to a place that might be very dangerous.
Yeah. So do we think the administration is going to continue to do that, sending deportees to a country that they're not from? Is that what's the benefit for the administration in doing that?
Yeah, so it certainly seems like they're going to. They hailed this decision as a big victory, and the benefit as they see it is sometimes there are people who can't be sent back to their home country, and they're looking for a place that will take them, and so that's why they're looking to these countries. And South Sudan is a place where the State Department says do not travel because it's too dangerous. That's what it says to Americans. So the administration is saying, oh, okay, we found a place that even though it's perhaps dangerous, it is at least a place where they will take these migrants who are trying to send. And again, the administration contends, and this is somewhat disputed, that these are the worst of the worst, especially bad people.
Gotcha. Greg Stohr, Bloomberg News. Greg, thanks so much for jumping on the breaking news.
My pleasure.
All right. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't want to disagree with the Supreme Court decision, but if someone's here illegally from Jamaica, you can deport them to any country you want. Like, oh, you're going to Russia, pal. I don't know how I feel about that. We're continuing to monitoring what's going on with Israel and Iran. Barak Ravid was just on CNN. He's in Israel, a reporter for Axios, and he's a contributor to CNN. I'm going to try to find that audio, an update. Apparently, maybe Nyoki, you can track this down. Apparently, the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, just issued a statement on the ceasefire. See if you can comb through social media and find that for me. If not, I'll try to grab that audio. I do want to get an update, though, from Ian Pannell. Just hours after President Trump announced the ceasefire between Israel and Iran, it appeared to have been broken. A strike in Israel landing in the south, killing 4 people. ABC's Ian Pannell says it was a long night for people in both countries.
Israel accusing Iran of violating the ceasefire. Iran denying it. But Israel already launching retaliatory strikes. The final few hours before the ceasefire were marked by multiple waves of attacks by both sides.
But again, if you're just joining us, Robert Berger from CBS News joined us live from Jerusalem. What it looked like a dubious ceasefire just 3 or 4 hours ago seems to be holding now.
Yeah, I would expect this to hold, and sort of it'll be interesting now to see what happens next in Iran, what kind of internal repercussions there are. But for now, I think the Israelis, Prime Minister Netanyahu, saying that Israel achieved its goals, which was to dismantle Iran's nuclear program and to cripple its ballistic missile program.
Robert Berger earlier in the show saying the ceasefire appears to be holding, which no matter what side of the situation you're on is a good thing, right? Let's get things calmed down there. We had this Mideast escalation, Deborah, and I didn't even think about this, but there are rumors circulating around that with so much strife internationally that the United States might reinstate the military draft. Is that for real?
Yeah, I guess the key there is rumors because a lot of this started on TikTok, so you can only, take so much of that.
Never
But
mind.
after all of these, they're just wondering what would it take for the draft to come back, which would be an act of Congress, and it's not as simple as saying, "Hey, we're bringing back the draft."
So it would take an act of Congress, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Interesting. Gnocchi, you're a youngin'. Are you concerned that we might institute the draft? You'd still be in the draft eligible age at your tender age. Is that something that you guys in your generation are talking about?
No.
No. All right.
I mean, it's just part of being American. I mean, we sign up for the
selective
draft.
service. Exactly. I remember when I was in high school at the start of the Gulf War that was, there was a possibility that they would institute the draft. But I remember the when I was a junior, it was the senior year class, so many of my classmates enlisted right at the start of the Gulf War. So maybe a surge in enlistments might. All right. So it was on TikTok, so I don't have to worry about that. All right, I'm going to try to pull up Barak Ravid, was just on CNN. That dude is a major insider reporting for Axios and is a CNN correspondent. I think I've got it queued up to the right spot. Barak Ravid moments ago on CNN.
So as far as I understand, according to the sequence of things, the Israeli strikes in Tehran happened before, and the Iranian missile strikes happened afterwards. But according to the timeline that President Trump himself laid out, both were still before the ceasefire came into effect. I think what created the problem was that the Iranians fired the missile one time 6 minutes into the ceasefire. Let's say, that's borderline. But the second time they fired a missile 3 hours into the ceasefire. And while the missile was intercepted, didn't hit anything, it was still, something that Israel saw as a violation and threatened to strike in retaliation in the center of Tehran.
In a statement after the phone call with the president, Prime Minister Netanyahu's office said this, and I'm quoting, "In the conversation, President Trump expressed his great appreciation for Israel, which achieved all of its objectives for the war, as well as his confidence in the stability of the ceasefire." End quote. What objectives is Israel claiming it achieved during the course of the last 12 days?
So I think there's no doubt that Israel achieved almost completely its two main objectives, which were, number one, destroying the Iranian nuclear program. I think the program, even if it's not 100% destroyed, it has been severely damaged, and it would take the Iranians a long time to bring this program back to a place where they can even try to produce a nuclear weapon. The other thing is the Iranian ballistic missile program. While the Israelis set out an ambitious goal of, removing this threat completely, they did not. But they, I think, degraded Iranian ballistic missile capabilities significantly. At least 50%, maybe even 60% of Iran's launchers were destroyed. A lot of Iran's ballistic missile production lines have been destroyed, and Iran is in a different place on its ballistic missile capability today.
Barak Ravid, moments ago there, a reporter for Axios, giving us the lowdown on the Israeli objectives that have been achieved and maybe the continuation of the ceasefire. Obviously, a huge story. We'll continue to update it throughout the day here on 95.5 WSB. When we come back, a major grocery chain closing a lot of locations, including some here in Metro Atlanta. We'll give you the skinny after we check some trouble on the downtown ride. Let's say hello and good morning to Alex Williams.
Hey, good morning, Mark. Scanning the jam cam for a new crash, 7585 northbound, just before I-20. Already slowing the ride back toward Langford Parkway. If you're heading into downtown out of Buckhead, fire department activity blocking the right lane of the 400 southbound ramp to I-85 southbound. WSB's own Smiling Mark McKay also says they're blocking the right lane of the Beaver Spring connector northbound ramp to 85 northbound. So we're going to try to get better eyes on that and see what is causing that fire department to be out there. Traffic brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Fire up grill season at Whole Foods Market through July 15th. Save on sizzle ready protein like 25% off shrimp with Prime. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
What would you do with $1,000 this summer?
Hotel, pool, week at the beach, cabin in the woods.
Whatever you want to do this summer,
WSB has $1,000 to make it happen.
$1,000 Thursdays gives you the chance to win $1,000 every hour between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m.
Listen for the keyword at 9, 10, and 11 a.m. and 12, 1, 2, and 3 p.m.
Enter the keyword at WSBradio.com or on the WSB app within that hour.
You could win $1,000. Get all the info at WSBradio.com.
$1,000 Thursdays begins this Thursday.
From 95.5 WSB, where Atlanta wins.
The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate is the easiest way to sell your home. You can save time, make the most money, and eliminate all the hassle this summer. Hi, it's Chris Chandler. My friends at Mark Spain Real Estate can sell your home with the strongest all-cash offer in the industry and help you move on your timeline. With over 67,000 satisfied clients, you can trust the most experienced real estate team in the U.S. to sell your home fast and for maximum profit. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. But today, instead of giving you a home remodeling tip, my tip is don't just take my word for it. For over 20 years, you've heard me on the radio sharing remodeling advice. But if you really want to know what sets Exovations apart, go read our reviews. At exovations.com, you'll find hundreds of real stories from real homeowners who have trusted us with their exterior remodeling projects. From decks, siding, windows, doors, paint, roofing, porticos, and so much more. You'll see words like amazing work, incredible experience from start to finish, and again, stress-free. That's not just what we say, it's what our customers say. So yes, I'm Candace from Exovations, but don't just listen to me. Listen to our reviews. At Exovations, we do projects on time, on budget, and without all that stress. Google Exovations or visit EXOVATIONS.com.
School's out and everyone is home, so trustworthy air conditioning and cool comfort is a must. Ashley Frasca here to tell you this June, Ragsdale gives you up to $1,700 off a brand new Carrier home comfort system. Along with saving big, you'll enjoy Ragsdale's own trusted 15-year parts and labor warranty on your new Carrier system that's zero repair cost until June of 2040. For years now, Ragsdale has helped us stay comfortable, from installing a new high-efficiency system in our home and getting much-needed AC to the basement, to installing outdoor electrical outlets so we can spend more time on the back deck. Ragsdale has been the name I know you can trust for all of your plumbing, electrical, and insulation needs. And they're a great company to work for. Many employees have been at Ragsdale for 10, 20, even 30 years, so you know you're getting valuable experience and expertise in your home. Schedule your next visit online at ragsdaleair.com or give one of their many friendly customer service reps a call now. Ragsdale, the name I know you can trust.
Are the effects of diabetes, prostate cancer, hypertension, or high cholesterol robbing you of your ability to perform in the bedroom? Choice Men's Health can help you eliminate ED and get your bedroom performance back in just one visit. Choice Men's Health offers breakthrough treatments for ED and performance issues in the bedroom to help you regain your confidence and give you back the intimacy with your partner. Call Choice Men's Health right now to make an appointment and find out how you can eliminate ED on the first visit. Popular name brand pills like Viagra and Cialis don't work for everyone and can have serious side effects. Choice Men's Health custom medications work immediately, even if you have a medical history or think you're too old to perform like you used to. Choice Men's Health can help you have a fulfilling sex life again. Call Choice Men's Health today at 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. Once again, that's 404-400-1170.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Right now, Kroger brand 80% lean ground beef is on sale. 16-ounce packages are only $4.99 each with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
That's you, looking at your garage door. And you're wondering, if it gets windy, just how much can this door take? 20 miles an hour? 30 miles an hour? Sure, if we get a little wind, your buddy says if you back the car up against it just right, you can probably save it. But what's your clever plan the next time we get a storm with a name? At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Storm-rated doors are built to withstand heavy winds, even if your building codes aren't there yet. It's like the door to the safe that protects your whole house. Stronger materials, heavy-duty motors and springs to handle the weight, and reinforced struts to keep it from bowing out in the wind. How do I know it won't bow? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll make sure you're prepared the next time a storm with a name comes sailing across the Gulf of Mo.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
There are over 100 units in that building. That's what is frightening us very badly right now. They sent the dogs in. We had no hits on the dogs, so there were no sounds.
Can't believe it's been 4 years already. 4 years ago today, a 12-story condo in Surfside, Florida collapsed, killing 98 people. That was the mayor of Surfside, Charles Berkey. You remember that story, guys? We were covering that on the air. Just insane story. I don't know if I've ever said this on the air, Deborah, or not. But I talked to someone in the insurance business that was familiar with that case. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn. I'm not going to name names or anything. But there was a nine-figure insurance settlement on that case. Ooh, wow. Yeah. It was horrible. 98 people lost their lives. But the victims got buku dollars. And it was all hush-hush, like, hey, we're going to pay you off. Just shut up about it. And they did. But crazy stuff. That was 4 years ago today. I remember people freaking out, especially a lot of folks in Atlanta that have, vacation condos that they go to in the Gulf Coast and everything. Anyway, that was 4 years ago today. I didn't see this coming. Kroger, Deborah, is deciding to trim their list of stores. How many stores are getting cut?
Yeah, so Kroger's planning to close about 60 underperforming stores over the next year, and we are getting some of those cuts here in the metro Atlanta. Stores in Alpharetta, Atlanta, Brookhaven, and Decatur, and I believe they're posted on the WSB Radio website, but those stores are going to be closed within about a year.
I'm not familiar I'm just a shopper, right? I don't know the grocery biz, but it seems remarkable. I know the margins are pretty tight in the grocery store chain, but the fact that Kroger is shutting down, that's shocking to me. Yeah. That you're selling something everyone needs. Everyone needs food. It's not like you run a tie shop. Like, who wears ties anymore? I could see a tie shop going, oh, we can't do it. No one's buying ties. Or a watch outfit, like a watch store. No one's buying watches. But it's a grocery store. And a big one like Kroger, it's not a mom and pop operation. That's kind of staggering to me. Kind of staggering. Thank you, Deborah. Do have an update on the space program. International crew ready to fly a privately financed mission to the International Space Station from Kennedy Space Center. NASA, Axiom Space, and SpaceX say they're now hoping to launch in the early hours of tomorrow morning around 2:31 a.m. Eastern. Our buddy Peter King from CBS has more.
Former NASA astronaut Peggy Whitson relishes the thought of a fifth space flight.
We are go for launch.
She'll command the SpaceX Dragon with 3 international astronauts aboard, one from Poland and the European Space Agency, the others from India and Hungary. Their rides paid for by their governments. They're due to conduct 2 weeks' worth of scientific research on the International Space Station. Whitson's already been there 4 times, 3 for NASA, twice as station commander. If all goes as planned, Whitson extends her record as the all-time U.S. space champion, with about 690 days total by the time the Axiom 4 flight splashes down. Peter King, CBS News, Orlando.
All right, that launch tomorrow morning, 2:31 a.m. I'll be up for that launch because that's how early I get up for this show. Sabrina's got your news, weather, and traffic straight ahead. When we come back, Deborah's got B-52 tickets. We'll update the ceasefire between Israel and Iran, and I'll tell you a little bit more about my Japanese vacation. All of that coming up next, friends, right here on The Mark Arum Show.
Got a leaky pipe? Trouble with your AC? Ace Hardware Home Services now has the trusted pros to fix it. From plumbing to cooling, we'll keep your home running smoothly all year long. Visit acehardwarehomeservices.com or call 770-233-7787.
The big focus in America today is on your health, and more people looking beyond pills and steroids and surgery. Hey, it's Mark Arum for QC Kinetics. At QC Kinetics, they've been on the cutting edge of this medical revolution since 2018. Using regenerative medicine, they have helped tens of thousands of people get lasting joint pain relief using natural treatments that harness your body's own healing power. The truth is, regenerative medicine used to be an alternative treatment. Now it's mainstream, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader. They're well-respected protocols include potent and powerful cellular-level treatments to revitalize and restore damaged joint tissue. They're not masking the pain. They're going after the very source of it. Yes, you can say goodbye to that chronic pain and live your best life. Learn more about this revolutionary treatment and get a free consultation. Call QC Kinetics now. 770-285-8026. 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026.
This is Scott Slade, and see if this fits you. You've just gotten an exorbitant estimate for repairs on your beautiful European car, or you're ready to cut the tie with the dealer. You need to check out Wolf Pen European Auto Repair in Roswell. Porsche, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, BMW, the certified technicians at Wolf Pen will have your European car or SUV running at top performance and safety without sky-high pricing. And to get to know you better for a limited time, mention you heard about Wolf Pen on the radio and get a free second opinion on repairs. Just search Wolf Pen in Roswell.
Summer's a time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or your tan. Hey guys, it's Mark Arum here. I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. There's absolutely no one in hair restoration I trust more than Advanced Hair. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sales event on for a limited time, so get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 470-660-HAIR. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and take advantage of their best offer ever. That's 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com. 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Rocco's European Garage. Our top story is the heat. We could see the hottest temperatures of the year today. Afternoon highs around 98.
The hottest temperatures will occur today and Wednesday with highs in the upper 90s. But the heat wave will break as we head into the weekend. That's courtesy of the daily pop-up rain chances. With increasing rain clouds, that means the temperatures come down into the low 90s by Friday and Saturday.
A heat advisory going into effect at 1 o'clock this afternoon. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards will have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just a matter of minutes. In the Middle East, a fragile ceasefire between Israel and Iran announced by President Trump appears to be holding despite some military exchanges overnight. President Trump did talk with Prime Minister Netanyahu and was firm on what he needed to see happen to sustain a ceasefire. National security contributor Samantha Vinograd on what it's likely going on behind the scenes.
We understand that this ceasefire came into effect after President Trump reportedly convinced the Israelis to accept it and then asked the Emir of Qatar to convince Iran to accept the ceasefire as well.
Be sure and stay with us for continuing team coverage of the conflict in the Middle East. Atlanta police arrest 4 suspects in what they're calling a hate crime in Midtown Atlanta. It was vandalism. It happened near the famous Rainbow Crosswalk at 10th and Piedmont. Officers found a group, they discovered a group had been recording themselves cutting pride flags outside Blake's on the park. A witness called emergency 911, and officers tracked down 4 of the 6 suspects. 2 of them took off. Those who were captured are facing several charges now, including obstruction and criminal damage to property, as well as a pending hate crime charge. 3 of the suspects are in their late teens. The youngest is just 16. Wellstar releasing new details today on a newly proposed hospital for the Ackworth area. The health system says the $1 billion facility would be 8 stories and 675,000 square feet, bringing more than 1,500 jobs to the region. It would include 70 emergency department bays and 8 operating rooms. Wellstar says it would help relieve pressure on Wellstar Kennestone Hospital in Marietta. The hospital, though, still has to undergo an approval process. Correspondent Jim Krasula reporting this morning the problem that many are having finding affordable housing housing, well, it probably will not end anytime soon.
There's little to suggest that record high levels of housing unaffordability will ease anytime soon. That's according to a new report from Harvard University. High home prices and interest rates have pushed nationwide sales to their lowest level in 30 years. Two big problems: property insurance premiums and property taxes are on the rise.
And amid concerns about diminished federal support, state and local governments are ramping up efforts to tackle the affordable housing crisis, but he says the increasing possibility of an economic downturn threatens to deepen these challenges. Well, a new survey today looks to find the best and worst parts of a vacation. What do you think they are? Well, a majority of people, 78% of those polled, agree that flying back home from a trip is their least favorite. Only a quarter take joy in actually planning a vacation. 2/3 of those polled say just knowing they're going on a trip can bring more joy than the actual trip itself. And the majority of those polled say they are willing to give up a week's pay if they could jump on a plane right now. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow is up 401 at 42,983, so the Dow's up almost a full percent. Nasdaq's up more than a full percent, and the S&P is flirting with being up 1% here at 1134. That means it's time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams is in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, Sabrina, big jam between Buckhead and the Midtown area. It is all due to fire department activity blocking the right lane of the Georgia 400 southbound ramp to I-85 southbound. That's stacked up the ride back towards Lenox Road. Now, I'll clarify the earlier what I thought was fire department activity is actually construction. It's in the right lane of that Beaufort Spring connector northbound ramp to I-85 northbound. That'll be out there most of the day, so just stay to the left there. And still trying to get eyes on what's reported to be a crash downtown, 75-85 northbound, just before I-20, causing that ride to slow back to Highway 166 Langford Parkway. Looks like the earlier overturned truck crash cleanup is cleared in Lithonia. The ramp from Turner Hill Road to I-20 eastbound to make the trek out toward Conyers is now back open. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid today, potentially the hottest day so far this year, high 98. The heat index values closer to 100 to 105. Lows tonight in the mid-70s. Tomorrow, another hot afternoon, high 97. Watching for scattered showers and thunderstorms late in the afternoon through the evening hours.
As we check some of the current temperatures, it's 90 degrees in Duluth, 88 in Dallas. Milton, you have 89 degrees right now. We'll have more news at noon, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
If you have the WSB radio app.
You have the WSB
all
app.
the notifications you
If
need.
you have the
WSB app. All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
Breaking news in Cobb County.
All in one place.
We'll send out an alert on the WSB app.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it from your app store today.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.
President Trump obviously frustrated with Israel and Iran. We'll update the situation. Plus, Deborah's got B-52 tickets to give away. That's next on the Mark Arum Show.
It's officially time for Zero Res's annual summer sale. Take advantage and get 15% off all cleaning services. Mention Chris Chandler to secure this deal today or book online at ZeroResAtlanta.com. Zero Res. All they leave is clean.
Only inches separate you from the heavy rain trying to infiltrate your home. Dave Baker for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. If your old roof is leaking, think of Findlay first. They're the extra effort experts, making sure you have a remarkable roof replacement experience. Water inside? Worried about recent heavy rains causing damage? You'll always win with Findlay. Schedule a free roof analysis. No obligation, no charge. FindlayRoofing.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
At Butler Lexus of South Atlanta, you're their priority. From personalized service to luxury amenities, they make sure you feel valued every step of the way. Buying or servicing, your experience matters. Call 800-NEW-LEXUS. Butler Lexus South Atlanta, the standard of amazing.
The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate's the easiest way to sell your home. You can save time, make the most money, and eliminate all the hassle this summer. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
He packed in the animals 2 by 2, ox, a camel, and a kangaroo.
11:38, and it's already 91 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. Stay cool, my friends. Mark Aram and crew with you till noon. Then Eric Erickson coming up in just a moment, the very latest on the ceasefire deal, which appears to be holding between Israel and Iran. But first, Deborah, you've got some tickets to give away today, my friend.
Yeah, tickets to go see B-52s along with Devo at Ameris Bank Amphitheater on October 25th.
I'm tempted to do the 52nd caller.
Ooh.
But Gnocchi's got to slide over to do the Erickson Network. Look at him giving me this look. We'll do the 10th caller, Noakes. How's that? 10th caller to 404. Oh, or 73. The 73 rack that of beer that wait, but no, 10th caller to 404-872-0750. 10th caller to 404-872-0750 wins a pair of tickets to see B-52s and Devo, Ameris Bank Amphitheater, October 25th, courtesy of the Mark Aram Show. All right, updating what's been going on between Israel and Iran. It has been a whirlwind 25 hours covering the story. The tenuous ceasefire seemed to be broken last night. Beginning of the show, we went live to Jerusalem. CBS correspondent Robert Berger said it looks like the ceasefire is holding now.
Yeah, I would expect this to hold, and sort of it'll be interesting now to see what happens next in Iran, what kind of internal repercussions there are. But for now, I think the Israelis, Prime Minister Netanyahu, saying that Israel achieved its goals, which was to dismantle Iran's nuclear program and to cripple its ballistic missile program.
Now, I don't know if it's been dismantled. Just seeing this breaking news headline, Iran planned ahead to ensure nuclear program wasn't interrupted. That, according to the head of the Atomic Energy Organization. So still some questions. Where was that enriched uranium? Was it in the areas where we hit with those bunker-busting bombs? Or was Iran able to get them out? Or centrifuges were able to move those out before the bunker? So still some lack of clarity on what the future of the Iran nuclear program is. But again, the good news is it appears that ceasefire is now holding. The Mideast ceasefire is still being held. Despite those exchanges overnight, President Trump did speak with Prime Minister Netanyahu and was firm on what needed to happen to sustain a ceasefire. CBS News national security contributor Samantha Vinograd looks at how Iran might be weighing the situation.
The Iranian regime responds best to maximum pressure. I was in the White House during the early days of the Iran nuclear negotiations, and Iran came to the table because of maximum economic pressure. In this scenario, they are under maximum military pressure and almost maximum economic pressure. There's some other economic levers that we could pull. So I do think there's a possibility that they are crippled enough to come back to the negotiating table versus trying to break out to a bomb.
Obviously, a huge story. Updates throughout the day. I'm sure Eric Erickson is going to talk about it when he takes over this microphone right after the noon news on 95.5 WSB. President Trump, by the way, we went to the Netherlands earlier in the show with ABC's Selena Wang. President Trump there going to be at The Hague for the NATO summit. Obviously, that is going to be a big topic of discussion, what's going on with Israel and Iran. But again, keep it locked right here for the very latest on WSB. All right, so yesterday we were swamped with breaking news, Deborah. I didn't get a chance to discuss my Japan trip, so I'm going to take a moment and go in depth. But I want you to tell me a story first to lead into my Japan trip. It has to do with red pandas.
Yeah, now this was over in China. I don't know if you stayed in a hotel in Japan, but in China they offer a red panda wake-up service. And what this is this hotel will bring a red panda to your room if you requested wake-up service. One of the staff actually comes in with the panda, and the panda climbs into bed with you and basically tries to wake you up. Now, the World Animal Protection Organization says red pandas are a wild species. They should not be in hotels or around for tourism-related entertainment at all. But this hotel says they're trained and the people love it.
So have you ever seen a red panda, Longoria? They're little.
Yes,
they're little tiny. So we went to a zoo in Hokkaido in Japan, and they had red pandas, and we were there when they fed them. and they're giving like little apple slices, and they were the cutest little things. Anyway, all right, so my Japan trip, flew into Tokyo, didn't stay in Tokyo this time. First time we haven't stayed in Tokyo. Got on a flight, right, Deborah? I gave the correct translation for the Spanish-speaking couple, and then flew to Sapporo. So we went to Sapporo, Hokkaido, because that is where our favorite foods come from in Japan. So like the uni, the sea urchin, Hokkaido scallops, like it's northern Japan. In the winter, it snows. There's ski resorts there. But Maya and I just went basically for the food, and it did not disappoint. I mean, the piece of Hokkaido uni in Atlanta can cost like $40 per piece, and there it was like $4. So we went ham on that. We just ate. But what really blew me away, I didn't know this. Hokkaido, that area, also famous for its Wagyu beef and its dairy products. The greatest butter I've ever had in my life, Hokkaido butter. It's so good. And everywhere you go, this is like my dream spot. Everywhere you go, there is Hokkaido soft serve places. Like
really?
Soft serve. The best soft serve ice cream I've ever had in my entire life. Like game-changing soft serve. So all the dairy products, amazing. I wanted to go to a baseball game in Sapporo. The Nippon Ham Fighters is the name of the team. And we tried to get tickets here in America before we went, but it wasn't letting us. It was like, maybe you can't get them stateside. So we went and couldn't go. Sold out. I even contacted the team. And they're like, sorry, gringo, it's a Sunday game. Everyone's coming. So I didn't get to go. So instead, we pivoted and went to the zoo in Sapporo. Really cool. Asian elephants, giraffes. They had a polar bear there. I'd never seen a polar bear at a zoo. And then those red pandas and chimps. And it was a lion. It was a really cool zoo. And so that was basically the hotel we stayed in Hokkaido, though. It's so funny, the Japanese take on American items. So in the hotels, we get the package where they give you breakfast. Mm-hmm. And you can choose the American breakfast or the Japanese breakfast. Oh, and so the hotel we did in Takamatsu, it's the same one. Their take on an American breakfast is hilarious. It's just like, it's scrambled egg, any type of eggs you want, and like a half a piece of toast, and like 3 different types of breakfast meats, like a sausage, a ham, and bacon. But what's so cute is they put like 2 pieces of broccoli and an asparagus.
What?
Yeah, like no one in America is eating broccoli for breakfast.
Or asparagus.
And then they get like a little ramekin of ketchup. And I'm like, well, where's the hash brown? There's no hash browns. They just figure Americans put ketchup on their eggs. Crazy situation.
Wow.
But I chuckle. As much as I love Japanese cuisine, the Japanese breakfast is like a piece of fish and soup and rice. It's like a lunch for their breakfast. But the Hokkaido hotel had a breakfast buffet, and they had soft serve for breakfast. Like you could get. I didn't have any for that. But Japanese people, they eat salads for breakfast. Like it's really a healthy situation. So anyway, spent a couple of nights in Sapporo, then went to Takamatsu. I was not mistaken for Adam Sandler this time. We went to the Umitown Mall when I went to look for Longoria's Legos.
Yeah.
I think it was because last time I went, I was wearing the mask because it was during COVID. And I was the only gringo white person in this mall, like the whole time. It's and I'm large, so I definitely draw attention. And people were like, "What the heck?" So we did that. Went to we went to Olive Island. We took a 1-hour ferry to this island in Japan, southern coast of Japan, and it's known for growing olives. Apparently, Portuguese explorers in the 1500s, Deborah, brought olives to this island.
Was that not covered in our show that we watched, Shogun?
Was it maybe? Oh yeah, the Portuguese were there. You're right.
Yeah.
So anyway, this it was so hot though. It was so hot. We had to climb up this crazy, and so the big draw was the restaurant there, and the store was called the Olive Garden.
Did they have a never-ending pasta pass?
No, they didn't. But it was like
$500.
it was like the 100th anniversary of the Olive Garden, and I'm like, our Olive Garden obviously stole it from there. So they had olive oils, olive soft serve,
Really?
Yeah, it was free. Olive oil
Did
soft
you try
serve.
it?
Yeah. Oh my God, Longoria. I soft serve like every day. It's so good. Then we drove up to the top of this mountain, beautiful overlook. It was a great experience. I'm sure I'm leaving something out, but we went to Olive Island. We went to the zoo. Ran into a Shinto parade.
Oh, can you say that on the air?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Shinto. Yeah, Shinto parade. I actually posted the video up on my Instagram page, but I know a lot of folks were disappointed I didn't go in depth on my Japanese vacation yesterday, so had a couple of minutes to spare. Great time. I need to go for 2 weeks, though. 1 week's too short. It's too short. I'm sorry, Ken. Next year it's going to be 2 weeks because the turnaround time, like literally 24 hours of travel 2 times to get that done. But we're going to retire there. I can see it happening. So clean. So clean. Oh, I forgot the biggest food thing. I had 12 7-Eleven egg salad sandwiches while I was there. It's
Why?
The best egg salad sandwich on the planet. Masters comes in second. The 7-Eleven egg salad sandwich.
7-Eleven.
They're so good. They're so. I'm telling you.
Why? Like, what made you want to even try that to begin with?
Well,
like,
Maya told me the first time we went over there. She's like, "You gotta try this." She knows I like egg salad. She's like, "You gotta try the 7-Eleven." I'm like, "What?" And I did. It's different. It's game changing. Game changing. They sell out quick too.
Really?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Should've
Anyway,
brought some back.
Yeah, they didn't. They wouldn't travel well.
No, probably not.
Actually, I bought one too many. I left one in the fridge at the hotel we were staying at as like a tip to the staff. There you go. Anyway, hey, congrats to Randall in Stockbridge. He won a pair of tickets to see the B-52s and Devo, Ameris Bank Amphitheater on October 25th. When we come back, we'll update the ceasefire between Israel and Iran. But first, checking the roadways on this steamy Tuesday morning. What's the latest, Alex Williams?
Been busy downtown, and we're still dealing with the crash. 75-85 northbound just before I-20 exit 247. Trying to get that out of the roadway, but it's stacked up the ride from Highway 166, Langford Parkway. Better news, fire department activity coming out of Buckhead on 400 southbound is cleared from the ramp to I-85 southbound. And if you're traveling 285 and northbound, the inner loop on the west side, you're on and off the brakes. Just some volume, though, from South Cobb Drive up into Vinings. And right lane construction out toward Lithonia, I-20 eastbound before Panola Road, exit number 71. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
We've all been
Jam
there.
starting at Langford Parkway.
Counting the minutes before we know we're going to be late because we couldn't count on a traffic app.
Jammed from I-85 down towards Ponce.
There is one thing you can count on. Triple team traffic on WSB.
Stay slow once you're inside the perimeter as well.
We know the highways. We know the streets. And we know the shortcuts.
75 northbound heading up to Cobb County through Marietta and Kennesaw.
And all you need to do is listen.
More experience.
More reliable. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Triple team traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there.
Hey, it's Belinda for the board-certified plastic surgeons at Marietta Plastic Surgery. I've trusted their team for years. Doctors West, McNeil, Hanna, and Biswas have been serving the Atlanta area for over 25 years with expert surgical and non-surgical care. With warmer weather on the way, are you summer ready? Marietta Plastic Surgery is here to help you look and feel your best. They now offer Awake Liposuction, a less invasive way to sculpt your body with less downtime. And their med spa still has all your go-to treatments like Botox and fillers, microneedling, Diamond Glow, hydrofacials, and Morpheus 8 for radiant, glowing skin. Looking to restore thinning hair or reshape your hairline? Marietta Plastic Surgery is the only practice in the region that offers the gold standard in hair restoration, the Foundation Aesthetic Hair Restoration Method. Visit MariettaPlasticSurgery.com to schedule your consultation today.
Market volatility isn't slowing down. If you're nearing retirement, now is not the time to wait and see. Every day of uncertainty can put your future at risk. It's time to diversify. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I want you to know you can create certainty, locking in guaranteed income for life. This means predictable, stable cash flow, even in turbulent times. You've worked too hard to leave your retirement to chance. Right now, there are options to receive up to 30% upfront or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. That's up to $30,000 up front or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't wait. Call 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any examples provided are hypothetical. Annuities are issued with prospectus and sales brochures and should be reviewed carefully before funding as features and benefits vary. DBA in most states has Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. But today, instead of giving you a home remodeling tip, my tip is don't just take my word for it. For over 20 years, you've heard me on the radio sharing remodeling advice. But if you really want to know what sets Exovations apart, go read our reviews. At exovations.com, you'll find hundreds of real stories from real homeowners who have trusted us with their exterior remodeling projects. From decks, siding, windows, doors, paint, roofing, porticos, and so much more. You'll see words like amazing work, incredible experience from start to finish, and again, stress-free. That's what we say. It's what our customers say. So yes, I'm Candace from Exovations, but don't just listen to me. Listen to our reviews. At Exovations, we do projects on time, on budget, and without all that stress. Google Exovations or visit EXOVATIONS.com.
Atlanta DIY landlords, listen up. If you're exhausted from managing your rental properties all by yourself, my friends at Renters Warehouse Atlanta offering a 90-day test drive. Hire Renters Warehouse to manage your rental property for a low flat monthly fee as low as $115. If you're not satisfied at any time in the first 3 months, you can fire them. Get your management fees back. What do you get for that low flat monthly fee? A dedicated property management team, maintenance coordination, move in and move out property condition reports, advanced tenant screening with a 9-month tenant warranty, professional photography and videography, lease renewal processing and negotiations, online rent collection, monthly owner cash flow statements, and more. Renters Warehouse, so confident you'll love their service, they want an addition for your business. Choice is yours. Keep DIYing or see how Renters Warehouse can make your life easier. Start your 90-day test drive today. Go to rwatlanta.com or call 404-662-2322, 404-662-2322.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 50 and tired of your wireless bill getting higher and higher, there are 4 things to consider. 1, how much data are you really using? As we get older, we use less data on our wireless phone, but you're probably still paying for an unlimited plan that was designed for 20-somethings. 2, if you see Get a Phone on Us, get your sneakers out and run the other way. No one is giving you a free phone. You are paying for that phone over time with an overpriced rate plan and a long-term commitment. 3, check the fine print on that $15 a month plan. It's probably an intro price that'll double or triple later. You might even have to pay for several months of service up front. Number 4, be aware of cable company wireless plans. Most of your usage will be on Wi-Fi instead of 5G, and your calls and battery life could suffer. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide service without the big wireless bill. Our plans start at just $20 a month.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
I think they both violated it. I'm not sure they did it intentionally. They couldn't rein people back. I don't like the fact that Israel went out this morning at all, and I'm going to see if I can stop it. So as soon as I get away from you, I'm going to see if I can stop it.
He did apparently stop it. That was President Trump outside the White House this morning. He should be touching down in Netherlands in any minute now for the NATO summit. Updates on the NATO summit throughout the day. This should come as a shock to no one. Of course, I can't find the story now. Apparently, nearly a dozen Iranian nationals were picked up by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement in the last few days. ICE says the group includes an individual with admitted ties to Hezbollah, a known suspected terrorist, and an alleged former sniper for the Iranian army. Wow. CBS News Homeland Security correspondent Nicole Sanga has more.
The Department of Homeland Security says Yusuf Meridano had been living in the United States illegally for nearly 8 years since U.S. officials determined he lied on a visa application. On Sunday, just 4 months after the Iranian foreign national was added to the U.S.'s known or suspected terrorist watch list, he was arrested in central Mississippi. He's now in ICE custody pending removal proceedings.
I was worried until they arrested him in central Mississippi. I don't think that's a hub for terrorist activity. Central Mississippi. Anyway, an interesting part of the story. Coverage will continue with Eric Erickson in just a couple of moments.
Longoria's Fact of the Day.
All right, today is National Praline Day, and they were originally made with almonds and caramel, and have a fascinating history evolving from French delicacy to Southern staple, with the American version using pecans and cream instead of the caramel and the almonds. They are often associated with New Orleans, where they popularized by Creole women and became a symbol of the city's culinary heritage.
She'll put a root on you, speaking of Creole women. Bury your drawers in the yard and you can't leave the house. Wise words from Red Fox. All right, let's get some stars of the show and then go take a cold shower because it's so hot. So hot.
And now, are you guys ready for the Mark Aram star of the show?
Man, fantastic stuff. Robert Berger live in Jerusalem. Selena Wang in the Netherlands. Karen Thomas at the White House. Correspondent Rory O'Neill. Greg Storr from Bloomberg. Scott Slade, my man, his triumphant return, and former Secret Service agent Robert McDonald, plus the core three and Yoki, me, Deborah, Longo, and Little Nokes. I'll get stars of the show. Good job, everyone, today covering the breaking news. We're going to be all over tomorrow as well, the breaking news coverage. Plus, got some amazing guests tomorrow on the show. Damon Wayans Jr., Kim Commando, and political analyst Stephen Lawson. So we got you covered. Thanks so much for spending your morning with us. The Mark Aram Show, 9 to noon on WSB. All right, social medias are active, including my Japanese pictures up on all my social medias at Mark Aram, MarkArum. Stay safe. Stay cool. Have a great Tuesday, Atlanta.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard, sponsored by Ragsdale Heating, Air, Plumbing, and Electrical.
It's not unusual anymore for people to have over $1,000 a month in expenses for the vehicle they drive. Cost of a payment, insurance, maintenance. The longer you drive a car, and certainly once it's paid off, the cheaper it is for you to have that car. The insurance is cheaper, and then, of course, you got no payment. Your maintenance costs go up. A lot of people dump a car because of repair costs. I don't like taking it to the repair shop, but I'd rather do that than have the obligation. How about you?
The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate is the easiest way to sell your home. Now you can save time and make the most money and eliminate all hassles this summer. Hey, Sean Hannity, Mark Spain Real Estate can sell your home with the strongest all-cash offer in the industry and help you move on your timeline. With over 67,000 satisfied clients, you can trust the most experienced real estate team in the U.S. to sell your home fast. Go to markspain.com and start packing.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
It is 12 o'clock on this Tuesday, June 24th. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. The news here at noon is sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. All right, as you get ready to head out for lunch, brace yourself for the heat. This could be the hottest day of the year with a high this afternoon of 98.
It's summer. It's supposed to be hot. But to put this into perspective for you, today's forecast high is 98. That's trending about 10 degrees above average for today. And it's close to the record high of 99 set on this day back in 1988.
Now, a heat advisory goes into effect next hour starting at 1 o'clock. And it's not just hot here. More than 200 million Americans are in the grip of an early summer heat wave.
The heat is pretty bad. It's oppressive.
We're not able to outsweat the heat.
It feels like an armpit out here.
And now forecasters say 33 million people will feel 100-degree heat today. That's nearly 10% of the country. And 245 million will experience temperatures above 90 degrees. Is there any relief in sight? WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards will have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast coming your way at 12:05. Now to the Middle East and the conflict between Israel and Iran. A fragile ceasefire between the two announced by President Trump appears to be holding, despite some military exchanges overnight. President Trump did talk with Prime Minister Netanyahu and was firm on what needed to happen to sustain a ceasefire. National security contributor Samantha Vinograd on what's likely going on behind the scenes.
I really don't think that Prime Minister Netanyahu and the supreme leader of Iran are as focused on what is being said publicly, social media, and the war of words that we're seeing transpire both on social media and in traditional media. Instead, what is critical is what's happening behind the scenes, what's happening domestically for them and what's happening behind closed doors in Tehran, in Tel Aviv, in Jerusalem.
Be sure and check back for updates. We'll bring you any new developments as they happen. Atlanta police give an update on an early morning vandalism case near Midtown's famous Rainbow Crosswalk, and they're now calling it a hate crime.
The evidence may be on cell phone video. Officers say they caught the suspects filming themselves cutting pride flags outside Blake's on the Park on 10th Street after a witness called 911. Police say the group was also doing stunts on scooters in the intersection. 2 speed away, but officers arrest 4 of the 6 suspects. 3 young men ages 18 and 19 are from Dallas. Another 16-year-old suspect is from Taylorsville. All 4 are facing charges including obstruction and criminal damage to property, and police say they're pursuing a hate crime charge as well. Jennifer Perry, 95.5 WSB.
All right, this is new here at noon. Fires at 2 car dealerships in Marietta are believed to be arson.
2 vehicles were set on fire at the ALM dealership along Cobb Parkway around midnight. Shortly thereafter, another fire burned 3 vehicles at the Unlimited Auto Group a half-mile away. Assistant Fire Chief Jason Gardner says cameras caught a person walking up to the vehicles before fire broke out.
And the cause of both fires has now been determined to be arson. And investigators from the Marietta Fire Marshal's office are actively working on both cases.
No one was injured in the fires. Marietta police are asking for tips. You can call the arson hotline to share information. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
Happening now, Georgia Congressman Buddy Carter is leading a hearing on Capitol Hill on how to improve America's health.
According to the CDC in my home state of Georgia, 35% of adults are obese, and 1 in 10 adults are living with 3 or more chronic conditions.
Now, the House Energy Health Subcommittee hears from Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. about the agency's 2026 budget. Carter, who was a pharmacist before going to Capitol Hill, says that the current system is not just expensive. He says it's failing the very people it's meant to serve. Wellstar Health System moving ahead with plans for a new hospital in Ackworth.
Wellstar now says the proposed $1 billion facility on Cobb Parkway would bring more than 1,500 jobs to the region and would relieve pressure on Marietta's Wellstar Kennestone Hospital.